Yeah, whatever the hell. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Quite frankly, I don't know. Once again, I blame YouTube. They had a perfectly good setup for allowing people to stream, and then they improved it. I did everything they said to, and when I clicked stream, it was streaming on my machine, but apparently wasn't going through. Yes, I put the stream key in. Don't start giving me maybe you should have, maybe you should have. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm just going to keep talking, okay? And forgive me if I'm sounding a little bit, nasty tonight. I got a goddamn right to be. I have been surviving on nothing but food and water for the past 2 weeks. I picked absolutely the wrong month to give up drinking. Not permanently, mind you. Everybody's saying, why do you do it? Oh, for God's sake, what a stupid question. Okay, when you like alcohol, when you have any kind of vice, you really need every once in a while to step back and abstain from it to make sure you can. Because if you can't, that's when you need to re-examine that vice. So I decided to take the month of May, and I decided this back at the end of last year. And having made that decision, I was not going to change it. Of course, all sorts of crap is happening. I don't got to tell you what's going on with the COVID-19 stuff. This pillow back here, my back hurts, ow, 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 which is kind of odd. I got a heating pad here, but it's 90 degrees outside, and I got the air conditioning on, so it's strange. Now, I'm looking at the chat here, and it doesn't seem to be moving at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the window because I think we've got a different chat playing. So excuse me. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this looks like where I'm going here. And I'm going to say chat. There we go. Hello. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, okay, something's happening. Okay. So yeah, YouTube apparently had 2 different streams. The one that was scheduled, which it wouldn't let me stream on, even though the stream key was the same, and a brand new one that I had to set up with an entirely new stream key. So allow me to close this shit here. I don't feel like having it open. Hopefully it won't disconnect us. So that goes away, and I'm just going to keep on going. Okay, yes, hi people. Please stop asking technical questions. I ain't in the mood to answer them. We got it working, and we're just going to go with that. All right. So, here we are. Yay, welcome to the wineless stream. As I just explained, I am giving myself a break from alcohol just to show myself I can. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks from now when I can get back to it. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions going by. Mr. Morningstar, if you want to ask questions about Anthrocon, go ahead and email me. I'll answer them after the stream, okay? Anthrocon is something I really don't want to talk about right now. Gee, I wonder why. Have you all noticed that lots of conventions have had to cancel? This stupid pandemic thing going on here. Just about every convention through the month of August has had to cancel, and even some through the end of the year. So this is really putting a damper on the whole furry get-together thing. And people are saying, why don't we have a virtual convention? Well, why don't you go to hell, okay? No, sorry. Why don't we have a virtual convention? Guys, that kind of kills the idea of a convention, doesn't it? When we started out this whole furry thing, it was all virtual. You went online and you talked to people through typing. And then we said, let's have conventions so we can get together face-to-face. Now you want to go back to the virtual thing. Okay, we've come full circle. Now, speaking of that, earlier on, I was going through some boxes. See, I wanted to dig something up. I was watching Boozy Badger's stream last night, and he is very, very much a fan of history, and specifically the individual in history, as am I. And I have something, a wonderful book. It was used as a textbook when I was in college. It is the diary of a young boy who was the drummer of the 51st Pennsylvania Volunteers during the Civil War. And it's a 13-year-old kid who just day by day wrote down things that happened, his observations, what to him was just an ordinary happenstance, but for us is remarkable history. Just some of the things this kid saw, some of the things he went through. One line I remember, they were mentioning how they had to bivouac, here's what we got for rations, and, didn't have tents, so we had to sleep out under the stars. And then just a quick line, saw the Monitor Keokuk in the river. This kid saw an actual Union ironclad. To him, it's just, oh, there it is, okay. One line that was almost kind of funny, the Battle of Antietam. This kid mentioned that all this horrible stuff was going on, and then the end of the entry for that day is, got taken prisoner, then the cavalry come over the hill, and boy, I run. So I wanted to find that book. I was going to dig it up and send it to Boozy because I'm sure he would love it. Well, I was not able to find it. But everybody, especially when you get to be my age, everybody has several boxes of stuff that go back years, stuff that you just keep for whatever the hell reason. And I went through those boxes, and I didn't find what I was looking for, but I did find some interesting pieces of history, some interesting things that I kept for one reason or another, like an actual business card from the Tonic restaurant, which is no longer across the street from Anthrocon. The con book from Conference East 1995. This was the illegitimate precursor to Anthrocon, you might say. The edition of Charlie Hebdo, which caused the dreadful massacre when people with no sense of humor went in and shot up their offices. Time magazine from the day after, according to the Chinese government at Tiananmen Square, nothing happened. All sorts of sales information for the Adams Mark Hotel in Philadelphia, telling me what a wonderful hotel they have, not telling me it was going to be gone in a couple of years. Time magazine from the week that the Berlin Wall came down. The very, very last episode of Calvin and Hobbes. Oh, I didn't know I still had this. The Northeast Con 3 con book. This was the World Con that I went to where I first found out about furry fandom. Thing back there. Enough said. More Adams Mark stuff. Oh yeah, this is cute. A dollar badge that Gideon drew for me. I'd forgotten I had this. And this is an interesting little bit of history. I don't have this out. This was a lovely plaque that was given to me at Icon. It was a science fiction convention that was held at Stony Brook University, and I was their anthropomorphics guest of honor. And I was very, very pleased to get this plaque. And for the longest time, I had this plaque hanging up in my office at work. Until my boss, who is a Southerner, he's from North Carolina to begin with, walked in and looked at that, and he kind of frowned, and he said, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's a plaque, it's a rocket ship taking off." And he said, "It looks like a hooded Klansman." And I looked at it, and I said, "It does look like a hooded Klansman." So I took it down, and I never actually put it up after that. I did also discover that I've got a metric fuck ton, if you'll pardon that expression, of furry art. I don't have enough room on the walls to put it all up, but I've been getting pieces of furry art for many, many, many years. And I've been wondering what I should do with it. Maybe go to The Dealer's Den online. I found one piece that I had plumb forgot that I had. It's a very, very moving piece. It's a print. The artist is Kyla. I'm not even sure if she's still around anymore. Kyla or Keela. And I found this, and I'll just tell you what the title is. Let me see if I can angle it so you don't have the glare on it. The title is, "But I Don't Want to Go Live with Other Humans, Daddy." I remember seeing this at the art show and going, "Oh, shit!" And I had to buy it. So it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, very moving. Maybe I should put this one back up sometime. And Aldia Carufa says, "Scan them, put up in a gallery on FA." Yeah. Make everything virtual. Yeah, put them up so everybody can look at them for free on FA. I don't know. I'll go through that box sometime, pick the best ones out. Maybe I'll just take down the art I have and put the new ones up and cycle it through. I don't know. Gumi Bjorn says, how about starting a furry art museum with it? I don't have the time, Gumi Bjorn. I wish I did. I don't have the time or the energy to start a museum. Let's see. Onyx Flame says, I drink once a month, sometimes twice should I abstain. Look, Onyx Flame, for 13 days out of 14, you're abstaining. You're fine. Don't worry about it. David Simon saying, you've been doing wine streams for a long time. When was your first wine-less stream? I think that was in 2015. That's where that intro graphic came from, as a matter of fact. I tried a wineless stream back in 2015. And what I remember most about it is I got through 2 hours of the wineless stream and was so bummed afterward I started the stream again with wine. But this time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the end of the month, possibly even a little bit longer. The 4th of June is my birthday, and it's a Thursday, and I'm strongly considering holding out till that night and then drinking myself into a stupor, because it'll be my birthday and I'm allowed to do that. And Samson the Cat Fox says, you look as if you have lost some weight. Well, I have, Samson. Thank you very much for noticing. Very, very kind of you. I've lost a considerable amount of weight. In fact, I've got this sitting here. I was working with this earlier. Does everybody know what this is? If you don't, I'll tell you. This is a leather punch, and I am at the point now where I have to go through my belts and punch a new hole because all of my belts were too big and weren't holding my pants up anymore. Oh, here's something else I came across. It's a little dirty and ucky, but you know, it's got history on it. My old Red Cross hat from back in the days before I realized that they're an organized crime outfit. Got all the various little badges and things I've taken care of. And one thing I'm very, very proud of, this one here, that is a pin from the National Marrow Donor Program. There's the number 313 on the back. I'll throw all the rest of these away, I don't care, but that one I'm definitely keeping. I rarely wear ball caps. I'm never going to wear that one again. I had to buy this one, though, just because I saw this one and I said, I really like the sentiment in this one here. So if I'm going to wear a ball cap, I'm going to wear this one. But not for the stream. Let's see. Darwin Kasaga is hoping to save up enough money in a year or two to finally go to Anthrocon. I hope you can go. I hope we'll have it. God only knows what this stupid pandemic is going to be doing in a year. We had to cancel everything this year, and we kind of crossed our fingers and said, ha, 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 in a year it'll get taken care of. Thank God that we've got strong central government leading us through this. Layla Cookie says, tell me your secret of losing weight. I'm wearing it on my wrist, Layla, not the watch, this thing next to it. This here is a Fitbit. Get the little lights to show here. It basically keeps track of how many calories I burn, and I tell it how many calories go in, and if I start putting in more calories than I'm burning, it yells at me. I was a little skeptical at first, but it actually does work. I have gone from let's just say from my highest weight, I've dropped 40 pounds in about the last year and a half. I am down to 160 pounds, which is 72.5 kilos for those keeping track of those numbers. Mr. Morningstar says you look like you have more hair. Well, that's only because with my face being less fat, it makes the hair look longer because there's less bulk down here, you see. That's it. Onyx Flame says, what are you drinking tonight? Water. I got my water here. I should probably get some because my throat's getting a little bit dry here. Neo Malik, I must thank you, good sir, for being the entertainer, comedian, and all in all great gentleman. Malik, you're on the wrong stream. I think you're talking to Boozy Badger when you say that. Your work and the rare few occasions I had the pleasure to share your company has kept me sane. If I've kept you sane, I'm doing it wrong. Vovaka got rid of the mane and now he's got hair like this. Oh, that's going to be amazing. Furry Trainer, will you carry the theme? I guess you mean of Anthrocon from 2020 to 2021. We do intend to. We're just basically postponing 21 to 2021. We hope. And Sam from the Cat Fox says, is that your father's watch next to it? Yes, this is my late father's watch that I'm wearing. Let's see. And Draco couldn't go to AC and was very upset. I'm sorry, Draco. You're not half as upset as I was. That was the toughest decision I had to make. We didn't have a choice, though. There was no way we could hold a convention and be able to socially distance everything. It's like, okay, we're going to have a convention here. Everybody has to wear a mask, okay? You got to wear a mask, and you have to stay 6 feet away from each other. Oh, that means we can't have stage events because that's too many people. We can't have dances. We're not going to have a fursuit parade. There just wouldn't be any convention. So we had to get rid of it. Hey, Alkali, how you doing? Alkali's got a haircut like this, too. A lot of people are getting haircuts like this because it's very, very easy to take care of. You don't have to do anything. I get out of the shower, touch it with a towel, it's dry, I'm done. I have not held a comb in my hand since 2002. Undertaker wants to know, do I like coffee? I do like coffee. Since I've been going to Germany, I've gotten to like very strong coffee. American coffee is too damn weak. Let's see. Gigad, no, I'll let you know, trust me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Silence says, how long would the parade take if we actually could 6 foot distance? It's not the parade, it's the audience. If we had the parade, people are going to watch it. But how can we have a crowd watching it if we've got to push everybody 6 feet apart? It just wouldn't work. Draco wants to know, did I ever get the doctor's mask? I had to cancel the order. Apparently everybody's getting those plague doctor masks, and mine just never came. Let's see. Cam Long, have you heard about the crash of the B-17-909? I had not heard. This is the first I had heard of it. It's a terrible thing. I hope that nobody was injured in the crash. Let's see. Camara Cougar, the tap water in the U.S. is more dangerous than the wine. I hope it's bottled. Actually, I have a filter, a Brita filter in there, and you can ask Vovaka. You really can't drink the water in this country in most states if you don't have a filter. There's just too much chlorine floating around, and it's like drinking a swimming pool. And Fabu40, whoever says good morning, try to sleep with Kage in the background. That sounds vaguely kinky, Fabu, but okay. Onyx Flame, how would you feel if somebody made you a plague doctor's mask? Thank you, Onyx Flame. Please don't. I trust me, going through those boxes, I got so much shit in here. It's a great feeling that people want to make stuff for me, but please don't. I got too much stuff to begin with, and I don't know what to do with it. Like I said, I still got like 6 or 7 boxes with things in them. Oh boy, oh boy. Marauder points out, Monday will be the 40th anniversary of the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Holy crap. I was around when that happened. I still remember the news reports. I remember the news reports leading up to it. It was sort of interesting because just like everything else, nobody was taking it seriously. They had people on the news going around and handing out pamphlets door to door that said, warning, Mount St. Helens is an active volcano, and listing what people had to do. And then they went by the next day and these things are in trash cans and lying around in the street. Then the thing erupted and people were like, oh my God, who would have thought it? But human beings seem to be like that. We don't like to think of unpleasant things happening, so we just kind of convince ourselves they're not going to. There won't be a pandemic. We don't need any kind of preparation for it. Let's get rid of all the people in the office in charge of pandemic preparedness. And then when it does happen, they have the gall to look surprised. Let's see. Mr. Morningstar, how can you best describe the taste of sake? It is like drinking heaven. That is how I describe it. Gigad discovered Jackbox games recently. I have played some of the Jackbox games. They're They're entertaining, but can be a little annoying at times. Oh boy. And Samson the Cat Fox says Cerberus is back there looking sinister and hungry. Hungry, yes. I don't know if he's able to look sinister as much as he would try. Russell says, I bet making your own Plague Dr. Mask would make a fun video. I don't have the artistic talent to make something like that. I'd probably start out with cardboard and a black Sharpie trying to color it in. Okay. No, and Alkali mentions that his crew and him are having a 6-foot away night, having a very nice bottle of whiskey, thanks Alkali, and a generous portion of fizzy cherry cola. Well, I do have some diet cheer wine in the refrigerator. That's left over from when Gideon was here. He drinks that stuff. Ugh, it's gross. Okay. Lavender Rose. Hi, Lavender Rose. Watching with your partner eating pizza and drinking Dr. Pupper. Is your partner eating the pizza, or are you eating the pizza while watching with your partner? Punctuation. Punctuation is important. Shigard says, do you know of an alcohol named Suze? I have seen it. It's not my thing. I stick to wine. And you're French, you should stick to wine too. Mr. Morningstar, if you were a Star Wars character, which one would you be? I'd be the drunk old guy in the cantina who kind of turns and looks when the guy gets his hand cut off and then just goes back to his drink when the music starts playing again. Camaro Cougar. Okay, Camaro, let's lay off of the conspiracy theories, all right? I ain't gonna go there. Dave Nevius, what's the other stream that never started? I wish the fuck I knew, Dave Nevius. It's YouTube. They came out with this brand new creator studio. Oh, it's better. It doesn't goddamn work is what it doesn't do. So the other stream is the one that was scheduled, but then when I went and hit go, it didn't stream. I checked. Yes, I had the right stream key. And it just wasn't going. So I had to completely start the whole process over, but that last stream is still there. Onyx Flame, if you had a mocktail, what would be in it? Water. I'm getting some of that right now, in fact. Excuse me. Watch my pillow. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Water, water everywhere. And all I'm doing is drinking it. There we go. Nice filtered Brita water. Remove all the minerals, put a little bit of acid in. Okay. Meh. I can pretend it's wine, it just doesn't work. Camaro Cougar wants to know what color lightsaber I would have. I would have an invisible lightsaber, because why let the guy know where the hell the blade is? And Samson the Cat Fox, yeah, wooder everywhere from Philly. Sean Barr, greetings to the great state of Texas. Hello. I had an invitation to go to one of the Texas conventions coming up, I believe Alamo City, if they're still going on. All the other cons are getting canceled. Hopefully that one can continue. And yes, Layla, I have watched Spirited Away. Azure wants to know, did you have fun with your mom on Mother's Day? Well, I spent much of the day helping her hang up curtains. I went down and we had breakfast together. I guess we had fun. And Gatecrasher, yes, that is a 3-headed dog behind me. That is the cutest plushy Cerberus you have ever seen. Mr. Morningstar, have you seen The Dark Crystal? Or if so, what's your opinion on it? Okay. Nice film. I really didn't like the writing. I thought in many places the writing was just irksome. Yeah, great effort, great puppeteering, nice effects, but they really need a better dialogue. The other cookie wants to know if I've ever seen a wild beaver. Okay, there's all sorts of directions this answer could go, but assuming you mean having gone up to Canada and seeing one of their national animals, not in the wild. No, I have never seen one in the wild. I have, however, seen the Banana Split movie, as Undertaker is asking. I'm going to put that stuff down before I drink too much of it. What other stuff did I find when I was digging through that box? I should just bring the box. Oh, I found this, an old brochure from the Vermont Raptor Center. That's my boy Red on the front. He was such a photogenic bird, they put him right on their brochure, see? And if you look very, very, very closely, you see that shadow, that blue shadow back? That's my right shoulder in that. So I'm in the picture, right there. That's my right shoulder because I was holding him when that picture was taken. Draco says, watch Kage give in and get some wine. Not going to happen, Draco. I wish it would, but no, not going to happen. Furry S says, hello, guys. Hello, Furry S. Or can I call you S, just for short? Okay. All right, more of this. Reluctant Warrior wants to know how lockdown's treating me. It's dull. It's depressing that all the conventions that I was lined up to go to, including Brazil Fur Fest. I was looking forward to going to Brazil for the first time. Have been canceled. I really can't do anything. Can't have friends over. Can't go visit friends. So I still have to work, though. I'm in the biomedical field, so I can't quite stay home. I have to go in at least for several hours every day and get things going in the laboratory. And once that's done, then I can come home and fire the computer up and work on it here. Claudia says, if Kage could hire someone from the chat to be staff at AC, which ones would he choose? Every single one of you. Let's see. Yes, Dimitri is saying the airline industry is nearly dead due to the situation. It is, as a matter of fact. And they'll be crying for the government to bail them out. Oh, we're too big to fail. Well, as somebody pointed out, gee, maybe the airlines should have been putting away some of their paychecks just in case this sort of thing happened. Oh, boy. And people are saying, sign me up. You don't know what you're getting into it. Mr. Morningstar, I'd like to know what's your favorite movie with Christopher Lee in it. I know Christopher Lee was an extremely versatile and very, very talented actor. He was very good in the original Wicker Man. Very, very creepy role. Of course, he kind of redefined the Dracula role. Interesting thing about Christopher Lee, of course, there are a lot of interesting things about Christopher Lee. He was on the set of a film, and it called for a character to get killed, and the character was going to be stabbed, between the shoulder blades, and the director said, okay, when that happens, make a noise like this. And Mr. Lee was sitting there reading a newspaper, he looked up and he said, that's not what a man sounds like when you stab him between the shoulder blades, and went back to reading. And everybody just went, See, Christopher Lee had been in what were the British Special Forces in World War II. So he knows exactly what a man sounds like when you stab him between the shoulder blades. Okay. Unexplained for the past 4 weeks has been trying to cat-proof a parent's house. Good luck with that. I don't know if there's such a thing as a cat-proof house. Arcadian of the Fox, what's the first thing you want to do when COVID-19 is over? I didn't even know when we'll be able to say it's over. That's the funny thing. I do look forward to going to a convention. Trust me. Undertaker wants to know, do I work with uranium? I do not work with uranium these days. And folks want to know, do I have a favorite Tim Burton film? I do, as a matter of fact. It's an early film he made when he was a student called Vincent. You can find it on YouTube. It's quite cute. Gigard, are you confined in the U.S.? Okay, Gigard, that's a very, very complicated question. The U.S. never really was confined. That's why we haven't really been able to beat this thing. There was no central plan. Every state was to come up with its own plan, and everybody did it differently. And they kept coming up with all sorts of exceptions. You have to stay home except to go to church, because we can't keep people home from church. Theoretically, we're supposed to be staying at home, but people aren't doing it. Oh well. On one hand, and I know this is an awful, awful, awful thing to say, I want to see these people in bed with 105-degree fevers gasping for breath. Maybe that'll learn them something. Camaro Cougar doesn't feel well. I hope you don't feel well in the not, that kind of not feeling well sense. Lavender Rose Fox, what if the cure for COVID-19 was something we had all along and nobody knew? It's entirely possible. Maybe it's wine. Liam the Coyote is hoping the pandemic finally gets the anti-vax movement to be illegal. That's not going to happen. I wish. But no, they would never make it illegal, because you can't make it illegal to believe something. And the Supreme Court, more than 100 years ago, already ruled that you can't do without a vaccine if the government tells you you need one. But people are challenging that now. Cam Long, your opinion of the PPE shortage for healthcare workers? Well, that's just criminal. The fact that we really should have been stockpiling that stuff, and the fact that it should have been pulled off the shelves and reserved for healthcare workers when this whole thing started, neither of these things happened, and now people are wringing their hands and saying, oh, whoa, how did this come to be? You were stupid. That's how it came to be. Layla says, how's the noodle dragon of the wine shelf doing? Is Qian Long... Oh, back there. That's Ronnie Long. Well, you notice he's on an empty wine shelf, so I think that he might be rather forlorn back there. Oh, boy. Darwin Casago. I read somewhere... First off, starts out, I read somewhere... I don't read any further than that. I'm sorry. That's just force of habit. I heard. I don't read anything further. I read somewhere. I don't read the rest of the sentence. And Cowlin the Wolf says, there's a huge spider on the wall behind you. Well, that's a good thing. I happen to like spiders. We've got a good relationship, spiders and I. I'll be your friend, but don't touch me, okay? Okay. Random Dragon, do you think all herbal medicine is BS? Yes. Does some of it actually work? Some of it does work, and that stuff is now called medicine. Oh boy, oh boy. And people are asking, Alkali says, my computer decided it also wanted to be drunk. Yes, did you spill whiskey on your computer? No, he did not. Alkali does not spill whiskey. He's got all sorts of protections against that. Oh, Draco, how could you say that? Is that little dragon on the wine rack going to replace Qianlong? You can't replace Qianlong. He's one of a kind. Apparently, Nightmare Muffin says, Uncle Kage, you owe me a drink muffin. Well, when I find a drink muffin, I'll give it to you. Oh, Drax is here. Hi, Drax. Keeping well, yeah. Pissed off and in need of a drink, but can't do anything about either one. Gunsmith wants to know, has my door spider come back? My door spider hasn't come back because apparently the new groundskeepers, they've taken to bringing a leaf blower in and blowing all the spiders away, which I think is a criminal act, but what can I do about it? Oh, and Dragor has taken over Alkali's keyboard because Dragor is the tech support and he'll make the thing work. Onyx Flame, I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not the guy to ask. I'm sorry. Oh, and I sound like the comedian Dara O'Brien about medicine. That's because I've been singing that tune so long. You know, let me tell you this. I've kind of reached the point where I am through trying to educate people about anything. I don't like wasting my time. I don't like wasting my breath. When you get to be my age, you don't know how much breath you've got left. You don't want to waste it. And it just irks me when I try to tell someone something for their own good, something that I know to be true, and they just put their hands over their ears and shout very loudly and say, no, 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 no. Okay, great. Go ahead and believe what you want. Don't vaccinate your children. When they come down with measles, don't come crying to me. All right? There. Fine. Oh, and Cal North is having such a good night. Winestream, favorite food, Skyrim, Skyrim and Winestream at the same time? Oh, okay. Onyx Flame wants to know if you could work with anything from your past again, what would it be? I was talking to Mom about this earlier. Chloral hydrate, knockout drops. It'd be fun to have some of that right now. Since I can't have alcohol, it would be a good substitute. Okay. Alkali says, I'm having some raspberry wine that is liquid candy. Go ahead, rub it in, why don't you? Okay. And Calvin the Wolf says the man doing a no alcohol wine stream. It is no alcohol. Notice, see? Glass, water, that's all. Oh, by the way, it is 5:49. I just thought I'd say that as a segue. This wine stream is Patreon supported, and I just wanted to thank my various Patreon patrons because for some reason my voting out. Maybe my voice does better when it is lubricated with alcohol. But while I still have voice left, I want to thank Zill over the Viking, Cecilian, Furry Trainer, Jack of the Circle, Mama T, Nikolai, welcome Nikolai, Onyx Flame, Rick Hales, Silent Dawn, Silvergatamon, Tau, Tez Cat, Magic Jag, Wadius the Dragon, Bentley Shepherd, Blackfoot Ferret, Botunus, David Hunter, Dunkel Pfoot, Foxington Fox, Jack of all Corgs, Kaharia Worgen, Caraway, Martin Spangenberg, Maximus Coyotox, McLovin Maine, Merlin Scorch, Mutter Wolf, Parago, Q the Dane, Red Reese, Rove, Indigo, Sasha, Whitefur, Six Ocelot, T, just T, The Dragon Show, hi guys, Ash, Wolfelter, Bovaka, and Yaki Sober. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much for throwing money at me every month. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell you get out of it, but if it makes you happy, great. Who the hell am I to say no? Okay, now I can close that window because I don't need to be looking at it anymore. For yes, thoughts on port. Port is a wine I could well do without. It's far too sweet. I don't like sugary, heavy, syrupy wines. That's why I don't do ice wines. Let's see. Paul Wade says, I did teach something very important. Well, Paul, if I taught something very important, number one, I'm glad. Number two, I'm curious what it was. Because I didn't think anybody listened to me anymore. Or at least the people who should be listening to me never come by this stream. Katrina Lee, have you ever tried mead? I have. I do drink mead occasionally, but again, it's too sugary and sweet for me. Okay. And Zano says, if you had to give up either wine or sake forever, which would it be? It would be wine. I couldn't do without sake, no. And Samson the Cat Fox is starting out, rolling down to old Maui. I'll let you do the singing, Samson, again. I don't know how long my voice is going to hold out. I haven't been using it for the past 3 months. Maybe that's part of the problem. Let's see. Oh, yes, Paul Wade, what did I teach? To always drink with a friend. You should always have someone with you when you drink. Never drink alone. In fact, that's how the Winestream came to be. I really wanted a drink, but I didn't have anybody to drink with. But I had a webcam. So I figure if I plug the webcam in and a bunch of people are watching me, that's not alone. So I was able to drink, and that is how this whole thing started. Draco the Dragon, are you going to strangle Alkali when you drink again? Nah. Now, yeah, he's too tall, and that would be too much work reaching up for that. I'll pay somebody to do it. Okay. Oh, yes, and people are talking about absinthe. Again, no, I don't do absinthe. I tried absinthe once, and that's as far as I'm ever going to get. Juniper, okay, a cat, a beer, a dragon, and a turtle, that doesn't count as company for drinking. Of course, they're not drinking too. Kahira Worgan. My friend is a nurse. We looked at pseudoscience and outright scheisse from Eurofurence. And she said, oh, I didn't know this from the vaccine chapter. Well, again, hopefully I taught somebody something. Oh, boy. And Mega Wet Willie, never speak of harm of someone online and the words premeditated comes up in court. That's a good point. Where's Boozy when I need him? I was waiting for that joke, Diana. Yes, absinthe makes the heart grow fonder. No, absinthe makes the heart grow stiller is what it does. Okay. Mr. Morningstar, my least favorite alcoholic drink and why? Well, absinthe is right up there. It tastes disgusting, and it ain't worth it. What you get out of it ain't worth the pain. Let's see. Layla Cookie wants to know, did I watch Dragonheart? I watched Dragonheart in the theaters when it first came out. Onyx Flame wants to know what happens if you stick alcohol on the floor in front of Alkali Bismuth. He does the most wonderful dive and face plants in front of it. It's adorable, but please don't do it because I'm worried he'll break his nose next time. Juniper wants to know, what do you think of hard cider? I do drink hard cider. The problem is cider tends to be about half as alcoholic as wine. So you wind up drinking a lot of it and it doesn't get you as far. It tastes good. So a dry hard cider I will drink periodically. But I definitely prefer wine. And if I can get it, I absolutely prefer good sake. Oh boy. And Pup Bane says, ever drunk chartreuse? Well, chartreuse I always thought was a color. If it's an alcoholic beverage and it's that color, then I don't want anything to do with it. And Camel Hawk, have you ever had Applejack? I do believe I have. I think that was one of the things Alkali tried to slip me some time ago. I tried it and, again, too strong for me. I like my alcohol to be between 10 and 20%. That's the ideal level for me. So we'll keep it there. Ki-an, is sake an acquired taste? Tried it once and didn't like it. You didn't try the right sake. I am a sake evangelist. There is so much bad sake out there. Tons and tons and tons more bad sake than good sake. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get bad sake. So the next time you want to try sake, bring me along with you. I'll show you what's good. Mr. Morningstar, which wine can you live without? Oh, that's an easy one. Chardonnay. Chardonnay is an abomination before God and man. It's like chewing on a pencil. If I want to chew on a pencil, I'll chew on a pencil. Thank you very much. Callan the Wolf, do you ever watch other furry YouTubers? Oh, I do. I watch The Draggett Show, they're furries. I watch Boozy Badger. He's a furry. Yeah, I do. I kind of wish Chen Long would do another Grumpy stream. Those are always fun. Alkali says, sake with a pickle in it. It's a good thing you're not here, Alkali. I'd bust you one. Gummibjorn did not like the sake that I gave him. Okay, it's not for everybody. Reluctant Warrior is asking about sangria. I do drink sangria. Sangria is kind of a dessert treat. You don't want to get drunk on it. It will screw you up. Okay. And Wolfcat Wildcat says, if I bring you along to drink sake, my bank account will be empty. Well, it depends on how much you have in your bank account, Wolfcat. Not necessarily. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get good sake, although it helps. Gigaud at a party drank several glasses of arranged rum. And I had the bad idea to drink beer after. It doesn't matter before or after. You don't mix your liquors. What you start with in an evening, you should stick with in an evening, or else you will be sick. And the question has come up, warm sake or chilled? Warm sake is repulsive. The whole idea of warming sake came about to kill the taste of bad sake. Sake should be chilled. It is like any other fine alcoholic beverage, fine wines, it should be cold. Pulp Free Fiction is asking about rum. I do not drink hard liquor at all, with the exception of one single night out of the year. During the entire calendar year, I will not touch hard liquor. But there is one night where I will. This one. Because 19 years ago, I didn't know what else to do. So on the night of the 11th of September, I will have a screwdriver, mandarin, vodka, and orange juice. That's how I observe the date. Okay. Vivaka should get around to look at the Dasai 50 bottle I bought in the States. I hope you have consumed that, Vivaka. The stuff does not age well. And Autofox, yes, I am aware that there are sake vending machines in Japan, Autofox. They had to drag me away from them when I was there. And Carolyn, you might have to explain, I don't know if I understand the question. What alcohol to everything else ratio are you? Could you clarify that, please? Brionac. Hello, Brionac. Brionac has joined us. Paul Wade, would you ever want to split a bottle of Dewa Zukura Okasake with a few fans? Well, I'm not familiar with Dewa Zukura Okasake, but it sounds very nice. I would have to see the label and see when it was bottled before I could answer that question. Mr. Morningstar says, what about instead of orange juice, it's wine? I don't know if vodka and wine would taste very good together. Whew. Oh boy. And Zilver points out, yes, red wine is not meant to be consumed cold. Red wine is meant to be consumed room temperature, but I don't drink red wine, so there. Onyx Flame wants to know, favorite meal to have with or before sake? Oh, that's easy. More sake. Yes. Oh, and Aaron has to go to bed because it's midnight and the dog is looking at me saying, why are you not in bed? Well, thank you for coming by, Aaron. Hope to see you next time, and next time I hope to be able to have something to drink. Oh, and Darwin Kasaga has to go too. Oh, all the folks in Europe, because it is now freaking midnight over there. Good night, folks. Thank you for coming. And since the Europeans are starting to head to bed, this might be a good time to go over to the drawing cam. Yes, that's the Philadelphia accent. Philadelphia accent. No, I say accent, but drawing cam. I still can't figure that out. The thing I'm talking into right now is called a camera, but that's the drawing cam. It's a Philly thing, don't ask. Some of the folks on my Patreon patronage list, they give me money, and one of the things they get for it is I draw. Now, I don't understand what the appeal is because I can't draw. I am no artist by any stretch of the imagination. But they seem to like it. So we're going to go over to the drawing cam over here. And thanks to the assistance that I had from Tallinn, let's see, drawing cam. Here we go. This is the drawing cam. Oh, and there's this too. Very, very pleased to have this. And I realize it's upside down. So I could do the drawing from here. All right, hang on. All right. Okay, there. The camera was upside down, but I'm on the correct side of it now. So here's how it works, and hopefully you can hear me. I can probably bring this son of a bitch a little bit closer. There we go. That's the microphone I'm talking into now. You see, I got a mouse here, and I go to this, and I look at what people want me to draw. And again, you know, I don't come up with this shit. People come up with the shit, and I draw it. It says, for example, furry trainer wants to draw furry trainer and her German Shepherd puppy staying in a safe. Oh, okay, that's easy. That's easy enough. Okay, furry trainer is herself an Alsatian. And Alsatians, they have this wonderful floof over here and very wolfy ears. And she's always very happy. Yep. Now, she has an Alsatian puppy, which is basically just like her, only in miniature. It's like a mini-me. Yep. Yep. And they are in a safe. So we are going to draw this here. Now, safes, remember, have very, 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 very thick walls, right? And this really, really, heavy iron door, and the door is open. Let's have the door, like, down here, right? Okay, the door is open this way, and it's kind of foreshortened. Yeah, there. See, kind of like that. Well, you can't see, but it has this like round thing with like pegs coming off it. That's so you can turn it from the inside. Why you're going to be inside, I don't know. But that opens the combination lock. And that's where these bars come in. And there's like a hole that goes here and a hole that goes here. And then there's a bar that comes up here and there's a bar that goes down here. And this is what holds the door closed. So this is for furry trainer. It is furry trainer and her puppy staying in a... I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It's in little font over here. And her German Shepherd puppy staying safe. That's about as safe as you're going to get, furry trainer. So there, that's you in the safe. So sorry I read that wrong, but we're just going to keep on moving. All right. Okay. Next is towel. Towel. Please draw a black cat sitting next to a pineapple. Sure, whatever. Okay, first we need a black cat. Okay, cats have like testicle faces. Remember, you got to have your cat's testicle face. And their heads are kind of round, and then they have like these ears on top, right? But this is a black cat, and I'm going to give him eyes, but he's a black cat, so we got to like draw the black in. Oh boy, this is... Give him a white nose there, so you know he's a black cat, okay? Yep, and whiskers, he's got whiskers. And he's got a body which is also all black. Yep. And he's doing the meatloaf pose. That's where they have the legs like down like this, right? But you can't tell because he's an all black cat. And he's sitting next to a pineapple. All right, so the pineapple, oh boy, this is going to be kind of difficult. Kind of comes out like this. Yep, and then it's flat on the bottom. And it comes up like that. And it got it comes out with this here. Yep. And then it has a ring at the top that you pull. Yep. And then a handle. This sets off the charge when you, oh, it's also got like things sticking off it like this. So when you pull the ring, the handle flies up and the grenade goes off. So there we go. That is a black cat sitting next to a pineapple. All you World War II buffs, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, thank you very much, Tal. Next we have Silver. Silver says, while you're reading this, I'm having a nice German Riesling, Mosel and all. Well, that's really very nice, Silver. What we're going to do is we're just going to outline the hand for you. Okay, there we are. Uh-huh. Yeah, did I get it all? Yep, uh-huh. So, yeah, that's just for you, Silver. Thank you very much. Enjoy your wine, you dick. Uncle Kage. Yep, that's what you get. Thank you, Silver. Thank you very much for nothing. Okay, Rick Hale. Let's go back to our landscape. I like to draw a landscape better than I like to draw a portrait. The final bottle of wine in existence, winds up at Anthrocon's charity auction. Kage and Tien are both in the audience. Oh, boy. Wow, okay. Well, let's see. Okay, first we need Tien. So Tien has got his noodle face with his noodles coming off it. Yep. And he's got his big regal horns that have these things on them. Nobody really knows why. He's got spines up here. And he is glowering over at Uncle Kage. Here's Uncle Kage with his potato-shaped head and his astroturf hair. And his ears are important. And his nose. And he is likewise glowering over at Tien. Of course, Uncle Kage is always wearing his best shirt and tie, right? Yep. And he's like, Tien's like, Nyeh. And here we have the last bottle of wine in existence. It's nice, going to make it a magnum size bottle. Yep. And it is the LBW. Yep. Stay tuned. See how that goes. So this is for Rick Hale. Thank you very much, Rick Hale. Why you like me to draw this shit, I will never know. But again, if it makes you happy, it makes me happy. Silent Dawn wants me to draw him juggling Skittles. Thank you for saying Skittles, Silent Dawn, and not chainsaws, because I can't draw chainsaws. Okay. He's a tiger. Tigers, being felines, have like those testicle faces again, remember? It's easy to draw a cat. And they tend to have like cookie-shaped ears for whatever reason. And then they have noses. Very, very important. Got to have the nose here. Yep. And the aforementioned whiskers. And he's always happy. And he's a tiger, so you need stripes. Let's see. We'll put more stripes in now. He's juggling. How do tigers juggle? Well, the same way anybody juggles, really. And he's got his paws and stripes. Remember stripes? Gotta have stripes because he's a tiger. And the big tiger tail, which is also stripy. I think, except they have this thing at the end. Oh, and they're Skittles. So that's one of the purple ones. That's one of the red ones, which nobody knows if it's like cherry or watermelon or strawberry or something. Yep, that's the yellow one. That's the green one. Gotta have the purple one. And this is the ultraviolet one. This is the flesh tone one. There. That looks like shit, but it's what you paid for. There you go. Silent Todd. Uncle Kage. I'm a scientist. We don't write letters all the time. Okay, all right, what else we got? Unexplained. A big cake threatening to squash Uncle Kage. Okay, cakes are easy. Let's see. A cake, which is not a lie, is this kind of, confectionery looking thing. We're going to make it a layer cake, right? Yeah, there's one layer, and here's another layer. Yep. And then we got the top. And it kind of comes around like this. And we're going to make it a birthday cake, just for giggles, because my birthday's coming up. We'll make it a birthday cake. Yep. You'll have to imagine the number of candles. And it's got nice decorations on it. And it's got flowers, florets or whatever. And it is a big cake, and it's threatening to squash Uncle Kage. You can tell it's big cake because here is Uncle Kage. There's his potato-shaped head and his astroturf hair, his eyes, and he's wearing his very, very best shirt and tie, as always. There. Yep. And he's got his lab coat on. That's why it's kind of long. And his nice Italian leather shoes. There you go. That's for Unexplained. And you and Kage. Thank you very much, Unexplained. Oh, Lord of mercy. I'm going to need drawing reference for this one here. He wants Crash Azrael after running out of pizza in quarantine. So I'm going to need a picture of Crash. Okay, that should be easy to find. Crashazarel. Crash Azrael. Images. Whoa, dude, there's lots of porn of Crash. Okay, we're not going to go to the porn ones. Okay, need a nice picture of Crash. Ah, there we go. Load. Come on, load. Nah, load. Stupid piece of shit. Okay. Here we go. All right, there's Crash. Okay, let's see. Crash. Okay, what's he done? He's run out of pizza in quarantine. Okay, so Crash. Let's see. Crash has a nose. Let's start with his nose. Okay, right? And it's big and black, big black nose. Because he's a wolf, and wolves are known to have these big black noses. Yep. And he's got kind of a muzzle that kind of comes on either side of it here. And he's got the rest of his muzzle down here. And he's got these teeth, cute little toothies coming out. Teeth. And then the rest of his face comes up like this. And then he's got the floof. I mentioned wolves got floof and stuff here, right? And he's got very, very big ears, almost finicky ears. I don't think he's like 100% wolf. And then he's got all this stuff coming off that he's got the insides of his ears coming off. He's got really big eyes. And yeah. Oh, there's something here and something there. And the problem is, see, Crash is in jail because he just went completely loopy crazy and just started going totally apeshit nuts because he was out of pizza. And he's been incarcerated now, pending a trial to see if he is mentally competent. There, that looks good to me. This is for Silver Gatoman. Thank you, Silver Gatoman. Okay, last we have Wadius the Warrior. Uncle Kage celebrating Norway's Independence Day. Oh, is that coming up? Which is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Norway's Independence Day. Okay, well, hang on. I need to find my Norwegian flag. It's in here somewhere. All right. We'll stick with the hat that he gave me. Okay. Here's my drawing reference. Okay, so we have Uncle Kage, and he is wearing his souvenir Norwegian flag hat, and it kind of comes up like this, and then it kind of comes up like this, and then there's one on the inside, kind of comes up like that, and there's one kind of comes up like this too, and then it does this thing and does that thing, and then there's one comes like this, and then there's one that comes like something like that, and he's got the hat on, and the hat is like down almost over his eyes, because there's his nose, there's his mouth, and his ears kind of up like that. And even wearing that hat, he is still wearing his best tie. Yep. Oh, and since it is a celebration, and hand, there it is, and he's got a sparkler to celebrate the, there, that does it, that's for Wadius. Whew. I don't know why the hell you people have me do this. Again, I'm even boring myself for shit's sake. All right, we're going to go back over to the other place. I'm going to take the microphone with me. All right. So we go back to couch. Yeah, that's us. Okay. So that's the drawing part. As you can see, I am no better at drawing when I am sober as I am otherwise. So, yay. Why folks like me to be beyond me. So, is anybody still here? Have they all gone to bed? Oh, there's one or two still here. Zover that says you don't do fireworks. Well, what do you do to celebrate your Independence Day? You throw snowballs at each other, don't you? That's about right for this time of year. Yes, everybody's still here. Thank you for staying. I'm glad you're staying. Because, see, when I'm drawing, stuff goes by and I don't ever get to see it. So, hopefully I didn't miss anything important. Ivo 215 is here. Hi, Over 215. Layla Cookie says, you are awesome at drawing, and Layla, you are terrible at lying. Nightmare Muffin, your favorite muffin story, why you in the fandom still, Uncle Kage's muffin. I'm going to pretend I understood that. Why am I in the fandom still? Shouldn't I be? Why are you still breathing? Why are you still living in the country you live in? Why do you still have the friends you still have? Why do you still like eating your favorite kind of candy? Yeah, it's the same kind of question. Paul Wade, in your favorite films, are there any horror movies in this? There are lots of horror movies in this. I am quite a fan of horror movies. I always have been, ever since an early age. In Philadelphia, back in the 1970s, they had a Saturday afternoon horror show host named Dr. Shock. I love Dr. Shock. He was a Philadelphia tradition. He had Dr. Shock's Mad Theater and Dr. Shock's Horror Theater. And he would show all those wonderful old B-movies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Heck, I saw so many of them so many times. Like, the wrestling women versus the Aztec mummy. Oh, that was a classic one there. Boy, oh boy. As a matter of fact, in the evenings when I don't have a lot to do, I will still cruise around Netflix and Amazon to try to find a good horror film to watch. There's not a lot of them, but sometimes you can find a gem. Oh, Vivaka opened the dossier and it still seems good. Well, you need to drink it now. Once it's open, it doesn't keep. Undertaker wants to know your favorite breakfast food. Well, here in the States, we're very much a sausage and eggs kind of thing. I do like scrambled eggs. I like sausage, particularly spicy sausage. I guess that would be my favorite. My second favorite would be pancakes with actual real maple syrup on them. And Alkali is raising his hand and saying, Dark and Stormy Night. Yes. I don't know if you'd call that a horror film. It is kind of scary, and it's black and white. So yes, Dark and Stormy Night. Opposite of this monitor on the other side of the camera is my A list of movies. So anybody who's come to visit has seen that shelf, and Dark and Stormy Night is on it. Kaharia Morgan wants to know, did I see Pan's Labyrinth? Yes, I did. I also saw that in the theater when it came out. Carrier wants to know if I've seen The Platform. I've seen commercial or trailers for The Platform. I don't like psychological horror. I don't like, crazed madmen doing experiments on people. I prefer ghoulies, ghosties, and long-leggedy beasties and things that go bump in the night. I really don't care at all for Jason and the Candyman and stuff like that. I very much prefer stuff that comes from more otherworldly regions. Pardon me again, I need to replenish my water. It's just water, he said sadly. But I'll add some lemon juice to it, so at least it has a little bit of flavor. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is... Okay, I'm back. Water with some lemon juice. Yay. Hugo Wolf has mentioned Elvira and Sven Gulli. Also very, very good horror show hosts. I've seen them, but Dr. Shock is still always going to be my favorite. Tyra wants to know, I ever read some of the creepypastas. I have read some of them. Some of them are very good. Some of them are just stupid. And Wolfcat Wildcat says, oh, so AC. I'll tell you something interesting. In 2003, I believe, our theme for that year turned out to be Creatures of the Night. We wanted a horror theme for Anthrocon. And it came across as Creatures of the Night. That was a last-minute change. The original theme for the convention was going to be Things That Go Bump in the Night. But then we thought about it and said, no, let's not call it that. Let's make it Creatures of the Night instead. Paul Wade is a fan of classic horror from the 20s and 30s, so Nosferatu, one of the all-time classic horror films. Even today, it raises the hairs on the back of the neck. Yes, Gummy Bjorn brings up the old series, The Crypt Keeper. I mentioned those boxes in the other room with all the things. I have quite an extensive collection of old comics and magazines with The Crypt Keeper, The Vault of Horror, The Crypt of Terror, the old EC comics, creepy and eerie. So yes, I do like The Crypt Keeper. Let's see. Gummibjorn, no, Nosferatu is not the one with Bela Lugosi. That is Dracula. Nosferatu, or The Feast of Blood. That was made in 1922 by the German filmmaker F.W. Murnau, and it starred a man named Max Schreck as the titular vampire. Gigard says, where can I find Dark and Stormy Night? It is a movie, and you can find it on Amazon. Interesting thing about Nosferatu, it was supposed to be Dracula. Murnau wanted to make the Dracula story. So he wanted to have a story about, Count Dracula, coming to London and doing dreadful things. But they couldn't get the rights from Bram Stoker's estate. So they just changed the name of the vampire from Dracula to Urlach, and they changed the setting to Bremen. And it's the same story when you think about it. Gummibjorn has to find Nosferatu. You probably have seen the vampire from Nosferatu. I'll bring up a picture. It is very, very recognizable when you see it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Nos F-E-R, not G-E-R, Nosferatu. That's not going to bring anything up. There it is. There we are. Yes, that is Max Schreck as Count Orlok, the original, or at least as near as we still have a complete cut of film vampire. There had been earlier films, both of Dracula and Frankenstein, but they are lost to history. Paul Wade asked about the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Is that one complete? The last I'd heard, they didn't have a complete cut of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Let's see. Oh yes, Onyx Flame points out that it was recently the celebration of VE Day, the 75th anniversary. Her street had a social distance safe street party. If that's how you got to do it, that's how you got to do it. Layla Cookie wants to know, do I have a favorite musical? I am particularly fond of Chicago. That is definitely one of my favorites. I also like Cabaret. Cabaret is very, very dark if you're not familiar with it. Excuse me a second. I'm going to make a small adjustment here. All right. Puppet Master. I saw Puppet Master 3 just a couple of days ago. I saw the original many, many years ago. They're good films, but unfortunately they tend to rely too heavy on the body horror, on the gore. They essentially become slasher flicks. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to look over the camera because we're talking. Actually, I'm going to go over here. Let's see what we have for horror on my list. Oh my. Pull this one out. Yeah. Oh, what else? What else? No, not that one. Not that one. Yeah. Okay, this one's good. This one's a classic. A little bit dated, but an absolute classic. The original The Fog. Not the Walt Disney remake, the original The Fog. This had a musical score that will stay with you. The film itself is good, but the music just drives it completely to an entirely new level. Disney made a remake of The Fog, and why they did, I don't know, because it wound up looking like the Haunted Mansion ride. Undertaker says, if I were a vampire, what's the first thing you would do? Hadn't really thought about it, as a matter of fact. Let's see. If I was a vampire, what's the first thing you would do? Well, I would probably be the emo, morose kind of vampire. Because there is the famous line that Bela Lugosi's Dracula spoke. I do not drink wine. No, that'd be terrible. Carolyn the Wolf, that's not the same as The Mist. No, The Fog is not The Mist. They are different films. This one came out in the 80s. It's got a John Williams soundtrack, and it is very, very effective, extremely creepy. And Bobaka prefers werewolves. I just watched a film just 2 nights ago, a werewolf film. What was it called? I'm gonna take a quick sidebar here and hop to my Amazon account, because I actually was very, very pleased with this. Amazon.com, go to my list. Yes, your list. I like it says your lists. All right. Movies. What was it called? Oh, easy enough. It was called Where? W-E-R. It's a movie from 2014. It's a werewolf film, or is it? It's got a very, very good whodunit element to it. I also watched a film called The Night Eats the World, a zombie film done right. It's very easy to make a stupid zombie film. They did a very good job with that one. And Paladai the Ghoul. Do you like the movie and musical Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street? The movie, not so much, but I have a DVD version of the original Broadway production of Sweeney Todd, with Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Lovett and George Hearn as the titular character. It is easily one of my favorite. Okay, I'll go back to my earlier question. Favorite musicals? Sweeney Todd, the George Hearn version of it. Mr. Morningstar, if the mist actually happened, what would you do? Drink very heavily is what I would do. And Sovaganamon points out Shudder. I do have Shudder. There's a lot of very bad movies on Shudder, too. I'm picky when it comes to my horror films. Let's see. And Samson the Cat Fox says, Kage is getting progressively grumpy. Do you blame me? Not only am I not allowed to have wine this month, but look at what the hell is going on in the world. The entire country's falling apart. Yeah. Tyro, what movie did you say the werewolf movie was called? Where? W-E-R. Sounds good to me. Where, or were, or there. W-E-R. I recommend it. Yes, Paul Wade. Hang on. I think that DVD might still be available. Hopefully you can still hear me. Let's see. The best exotic whisper. Hello. Yes, here we go. Yeah, the original version. Angela Lansbury and George Hearn in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Yeah, okay, the movie, they tried very hard, but if you look at those two characters, that's what Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd should look like. Angela Lansbury was exquisite in the role. Let's see. And Ava Nova says, what don't you accept donations? I would if you want to give me some. I'm not 100% sure what the question is. Volvaka says, a zombie movie done right is Cargo. That's on my list. Okay, since you've recommended it, I might watch that tomorrow. Okay. And Samson the Cat Fox says, Little Shop of Horrors. Actually, the remake of Little Shop of Horrors was very, very good. The way they did Audrey 2 was quite nice. And a little bit of trivia, the ending of Little Shop of Horrors, the movie, was not how it was supposed to end. There was a very, very different ending. And in the Broadway play, Little Shop of Horrors, they stuck to that very, very different ending. It's not as happy and sweet as the movie came across. Gigard asks about The Last Train to Busan. I have seen The Last Train to Busan. That is very, very creepy, but you're right, it's a sad film. Oh, Eddie the Weather Fox is grabbing some dinner. Have some wine while you're at it. At least one of us can have some. Oh, Nightmare Muffin, good point. Can you make a video on Vaxxed? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about, on my science channel, a video about anti-vaxxers? I have contemplated doing it, but I can't really muster the enthusiasm to do it because the people who should see it aren't going to watch it. And as I said earlier, I don't like wasting my breath. If I make a video explaining why the anti-vax movement is crap, the only people who are going to watch it are people who already know it. And why should I bother telling them something they already know? I'm sorry, I've gotten very, very, very cynical when it comes to educating the public. I honestly have gotten to the point where I think they don't fucking deserve to be educated. They don't want to listen, then I ain't going to say. Mr. Morningstar, do you think zombie furries would be cute or scary? In order to answer that question, we should perhaps watch a film called Zombies. It's a zombie film where the zombies aren't human beings. The zombie virus infects a zoo, and the zoo animals become undead horrors. So yes, it's called Zombies. Maybe we should watch that, then we'll answer your question. Wadia says, do you believe protein shakes actually work for losing weight? I think they're for gaining weight. I don't take protein shakes and I've been losing weight. Just count your calories. Make sure the calories going out are greater than the calories going in. That's all you have to do. Oh, Paul Wade is asking about Alfred Hitchcock films. Naturally Psycho. Lifeboat. I was very, very fond of Lifeboat. That was an excellent, excellent film. If you have not seen the recent movie, I believe it was just called Hitchcock, that had Sir Anthony Hopkins in the role as Alfred Hitchcock, I recommend it because he very much brought the character back to life. Cam Long points out Wolfgang Petersen's Das Boot and Guy Hamilton's Battle of Britain. Don't try to watch them both in the same night. It'd be a very, very long night. Oh, gee. And Onyx Flame has pointed out there was another anti-isolation rally this time. Apparently 20 people showed up. Yeah, I would like to go to one of these anti-isolation rallies and hand out forms, legal documents where people can sign their names saying, I surrender any right to any kind of medical treatment if I should catch the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Furthermore, I fully agree to be financially responsible if anyone catches it from me. I'd be willing to bet those people would go home very, very quickly. Oh, would I ever get behind the wheel of Christine? No. Okay. The Stephen King story and the movie Christine, that was fucked up. No, I would not want to get anywhere near that car. And Paladie, Stephen King does much better in books than he does movies. As a matter of fact, through the 70s and 80s, it was pretty much the rule that you can't make a good Stephen King film. They've been trying lately, but his stories, for some reason, don't translate well to the screen. With certain key exceptions, Carrie translated very well to the screen, and The Shining translated well to the screen. But there's a host of others that just fell flat. Aha, and Zano, do I like Silence of the Lambs? The movie has merit, but it was absolutely carried away by Anthony Hopkins in his portrayal as Hannibal Lecter. That was one of the finest bits of acting. I think it was not in the original Silence of the Lambs, I think it was in the sequel, where Sir Anthony shows off the extreme talent he has. There's a scene where the detective is having a discussion with Hannibal Lecter, and the camera is cutting back and forth from one face to the other. And Lecter asks, how is it you caught me? And the detective said, you had disadvantages. And Lecter says, what disadvantages? The detective says, you're insane. When it cuts back to Hopkins' face, there is a subtle change. It's so subtle you can't even put your finger on what he's doing. But the expression on his face subtly changes from that very, very haughty, confident to, oh yes, you're right, I am. It is a magnificent piece of cinematography pulled off by an exquisite actor. Let's see. Paul Wade says, how about Misery? I had trouble watching Misery. Again, I don't like psychological horror. I don't like, it's a crazy person doing terrible things. It's bothersome to me. What I didn't like most about Misery was the scene where she breaks the gentleman's leg. I have broken a leg, and it sounds exactly like that, and it had me squirming. But that's not my kind of horror. Again, I prefer, as I said before, the ghoulies, the ghosties, the long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Let's see. Paladai is asking, would you say Anthony Hopkins is my favorite actor? He certainly is one of my favorite actors. There are some actors out there, and Hopkins is one of them, that, as far as I'm concerned, just can't make a bad film. Put this actor in the film, and it will be perfect. And I think Anthony Hopkins is certainly one of those. And Vivaka says, have you watched The Wall? Do you mean the Pink Floyd documentary from back in the 70s? I'm not sure which one you mean. Oh, speaking of long-leggedy beasties, there's Tian Long. Hello, Tian. Ni hao ma. Oh, that does remind me. I was doing a video call back when the decision was made that we had to cancel Anthrocon. I was talking with Ronnie, commiserating, you might say, and his granny walked in, so he turned the camera around and let me talk to his granny. Now, she's talking to me in Chinese. So he turned the camera around, and there's this Chinese lady, and I didn't know what to say. I said, ni hao ma, and she started, Chinese, and I thought, okay, what do I do now? I don't think Ronnie would have been happy if I had smiled very, very, my charming, winning smile, and said, Yao hai le. I think he would have been very, very upset. Tyro says, have you seen Anthony Hopkins play King Lear? I have not. But we were talking about favorite actors, Anthony Hopkins being one of them. Toshiro Mifune is another one that I would worship if he was still alive. Let's see. Paul Wade, do you like any Gojira films? I like all Gojira films. I have seen absolutely every single one of them. There is a photograph on the wall that has the autograph of both Haruo Nakajima and Ken Satsuma. Yes, I am very much a Godzilla fan. Oh, Nicholas Kaiser Crompton is here. Hello, Herr Kaiser Crompton. How are you? Let's see. Nightmare Muffin, I've not seen the documentary Vaxxed, I'm sorry. And Austin Schmuck says, have you seen the chicken heart? You mean, thum thum, thum thum, thum thum. I've heard of the chicken heart. Dave Nevius, the Godzilla anime. I've seen the Godzilla anime, and I think it's atrocious. It is boring as all hell. I'm sorry. They really did a bad job on it. Let's see. Paul Wade says, I'm a god among men. I would definitely not say so. I am a broken down old man who drinks too much except during the month of May, in which case he stops drinking and gets very, very surly. Okay, Chen Long must have turned away because he did not respond to what I just said, which is very, very surprising. He must not be at his screen. Let's see. And cook some method. My girlfriend River Swords Cat says she would like to have a drink with you once this lockdown is finished to commiserate over her sinus. We could commiserate, although I must say I was very happy at her sinus. Of course, back in my day, it was a much better college and the faculty was, but we could certainly talk about it. Unexplained, did the book I gave you on Welsh history find its way into Bookshop? Yes, it is right back there, as a matter of fact. Let's see. And Marauder bought a Balto pin with the words, vaccinate your kids on it. Not sure what Balto has to do with that. Oh, yes, I can see why it would. Yep. It's practically a Balto pin there. Let's see. Oh, Kaiser Crumpton is considering getting a doggy. Do you mean a doggy, a doge, or a diogi? They are very, very different creatures. Eddie the Weather Fox has acquired a hamburger. Hamburger get la. And the Ghoul would like to know, why did I stop drinking during the month of May? Because I wanted to. Back in December, I decided I would pick the month of May, specifically the month of May because I had no conventions this month, that I would take to abstain from alcohol to show myself that I could. Let's see. Mr. Morningstar, have you talked to Fox some more lately? About 3-4 days ago, yes. And, oh, Eddie the Weather Fox? Yes, poured a glass of wine for Cindy and proclaimed, here, drink this doctor's orders. Very, very good. It's good for what ails you. So apparently, Unexplained points out both Qianlong and Qinlong disappeared when I started speaking Chinese. I think I must have offended them. Do I know Doberman? Only by reputation. We've never drunk together as far as I know, but I am very, very familiar with his work. Let's see. And Hugo Wolf would like to know, have I finished Beastars? I was watching one episode of Beastars a night because I wanted to stretch it out. I wanted to, make it last. I wasn't going to binge watch it. Then I got up to about episode 8, and I just had to keep going. So I finished the entire first season and am eagerly looking forward to the second. Nicholas is in contact with the breeders. One is a woman who breeds dogs. Yeah, dogs. Okay. Let's see. And yes, Commander says, I know you played the original D&D. Yes, as you once told. Yes, I did. Have you ever created a character that was leaning towards being furry or just full-on anthro? Yes, I played a lizard man character many, many years ago. And that was a lot of fun. One of the nuances about him was he could understand the common tongue, but he couldn't speak it. He could not communicate verbally because his language was just too different. And no, I'm sorry, any character says they speak lizardman, no, they don't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that. Oh, Qinlong is back. It engages stealth wine mode. Had to take care of the cat. So thankfully Chinlong is here. He was not offended when I said Yao Haile earlier, so thank goodness that just kind of passed. Undertaker would like to know, have you ever drunk a raw egg? That is repulsive. Of course I haven't, and I never will. Not going to happen. No, 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 no. Let's see. Survagatamon, Beastars or BoJack Horseman? Watch Beastars first. BoJack Horseman is just... It's far out there. Both of them have sad sides to them. BoJack Horseman will very much depress you toward the end. So start with Beastars. And Kuksum Mephidia, Sorjat is an Ursinus alum of the history department. Probably the faculty was unchanged between your time and hers. Okay, the history department was Dirk Visser when I was there. There was no other history department. He was the bee's knees. So if she knew Dirk Visser, then she had an excellent history education. Let's see. And Liam is asking, isn't rum just ethanol and sugar? Probably, and probably more ethanol than sugar. And Yumpy says Beastars Season 2 is depressing. Probably, but we haven't got Season 2 here yet, so let's not say anything else. And Layla Cookie saying, getting warm here, maybe too much alcohol. Go ahead, you can rub it in too. Onyx Flame, will you be doing the Singaporean National Anthem tonight? Funny you should ask. I was waiting for somebody to ask. And since Chinlong is here, why not? Hopefully my voice will hold out again. It's been feeling very, very hoarse. Mari kita rakyat Singapura sama-sama menuju bahagia. Cita-cita kita yang mulia berjaya Singapura. Everybody now. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru. Majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura. Play ball. Oh, let's not do that. Play ball. No flag. The flag is down there, and to reach for it would be too much work, so no flag. And White Tiger would like to know, have I seen Arashi no Yoru ni? Yes, I have seen it. Oh, by the way, since Alkali is here, I got a new hat, Alkali. You know I don't normally wear ball caps, but I had to get this one. I saw this one, I'm like, okay, I will wear that hat, so I'm going to wear this hat, yeah. Nicholas points out that the Cougar Hinya Magnum is a Netherlands breed. Oh, it's a Nederlander dog. Okay, it's known as a water game dog. Well, if it's Nederlander, it's got to be a water dog. You're like surrounded by this stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Lin Noon Hat. Other than watching anime, what else have you been up to during this pandemic? Watching movies, tidying up my house, emptying out boxes and coming across ancient treasures. I showed these at the very beginning. Maybe I can show them again. When you clean out the old boxes. Why not? We'll go through them one more time. Shit that you just keep for no reason, like the Conference East con book. This was the illegitimate precursor to Anthrocon. The edition of Charlie Hebdo. You should know which one I'm talking about. The very, very final episode of Calvin and Hobbes. And I'll show this again for folks who weren't here. I'd like to show this because this is amazing. I'm pretty sure I got this piece of art at probably an early conference. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of furry art in the room back there, and I'm really not sure what to do with them. I'm thinking maybe put them on the dealer's den. No, I don't have the energy to open a museum, although I probably could. I came across this one and I remembered buying it. There's lots of feels in this one here. Now, the title, which you can see down in the corner down there, is, "But I don't want to live with other humans, Daddy." It's like, yo, this is just amazing. So yes, you come across treasures when you open those old boxes that have been sitting for 15, 20 years. And this too, Gideon did a dollar badge for me, and I think this one is pretty good. You hold it up a little closer there. You can see the resemblance, can't you? Yeah, let's take the hat off. Yeah. Gumbjorn says, yes, donate them to a furry museum. If somebody opens one, why not? Paul Wade, have you ever seen any of the Kurosawa films? Are you aware, Paul? Well, hang on. I think I've got it here. Here I go again. I'll try to make noise so there's not dead air. Here we go. Ah. Have you ever wondered why I'm called Uncle Kage? My original character on Furry Muck was Kagemushi. It is a pun, because this is one of my favorite all-time films. Yes, I am a Kurosawa fan. Kagemusha, the Shadow Warrior. My fursona is a samurai cockroach, or originally was a samurai cockroach. He still is, I suppose. Kagemusha, the Shadow Warrior. Mushi happens to mean bug in Japanese, so Kagemushi, the shadow bug. That is where my name comes from. Let's see. And Carolyn says, pillow! Yes, the pillow which has my heating pad in it, because there is a muscle just to the right of my spine, which has been hurting constantly for about 3 weeks, and I can't make it stop. And I can't take any medicine for it for a strange reason. As you know, I work in the biomedical field. The company that I work at makes all sorts of medical devices. A lot of times you need to test these devices, and sometimes you need to test it on actual human blood to find out compatibility, things like that. Where do they get the blood from? They siphon the employees. My company actually has a program where employees can volunteer to donate some blood, and that blood is used to do compatibility experiments with the equipment. My turn's coming up, but you cannot have had any sort of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories for 2 weeks prior to it. So I've been going for 2 weeks with this agonizing, horrible muscle aching in my back, and I can't take anything for it at least till Wednesday, which is when the blood drawing is going to be. Yes, Undertaker, I could really use a massage, but we're totally socially distant here, so I can't get a massage. I'll put this on. Okay, here we go. There, social distance. All right, there we are. They gave this to us at work, because while we're at work, we all have to wear the masks too, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Paladai the Ghoul, do your co-workers know about Anthrocon furries? Yeah, they probably do. I'm sure they've Googled me. I don't hide it. I also don't flaunt it. If people ask about it, I tell them, but they find out about it, well, that's fine. I will mention that at the last company I worked at, I was only there for 1.5 years. That's another story. It was not the best place. When I left, I went to one of my favorite co-workers. She was one of the quality assurance auditors. And I took her aside. She was a darling. We were like, you've heard the expression work husband, work wife. That was us. And I handed her a slip with this YouTube channel on it. And I very surreptitiously handed it to her, and I said, don't show this to anyone, but when you get home, check out this YouTube channel. And she looked at me, she said, oh, honey, we've known about Uncle Kage since you got here. Really? So, yeah. Onyx Flame says, got a bath? I happen to have a jacuzzi. Soaking it with bubbles for a bit after stretching. I have done that. The only problem with the jacuzzi is it takes so long to clean when you're done. Undertaker, give me a radioactive massage. I'm not sure how you could do that, but if it make it stop hurting. Speaking of which, I need to go up a level. There, I'm going to the red. This is my heating pad back here. That's what this is for. Let's see. It says, could you do a Hannibal impression with that mask? I could not do Anthony Hopkins. Let's see. I can't remember what lines he spoke when he had the mask on. Yep. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. But that was done without the mask. Tian Long is back. I can't wait to go back to Genki if they survive. I very much hope they survive too. So Tian missed it. He must have missed it when I was talking about the phone call I had with Ronnie's grandma. All right. Let's see. Undertaker says, sleeping in a coffin will fix you right up. You know, funny you should mention that, Undertaker. I have slept in a coffin. And you're right. They are remarkably comfortable. How we can create a thing that is that comfortable and reserve it for dead people and not living people is beyond me. Cooksom says, be careful with the heating pad. I have a large scar on my left shoulder from the last time I used it. Well, I'm not going to slice myself open with it. I'm not going to flagellate myself with it. It's in the pillowcase. It's not in direct contact with me. So thank you for your concern, but I'll be okay. And Tian says, what did you say? Well, if you weren't here, I don't know if I should just go and repeat the story. But I was on the line to Ronnie, remember? And I was talking to Ronnie, and he had his granny there. And when he turned the camera to his granny, I said, Ni hao ma, and she starts going Chinese, 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 Chinese. And I was lost. I didn't know what to say. The only thing I could think to say, and I didn't say it, and it's probably a good thing I didn't say it, was Yao Hai Le. But I figured he wouldn't have appreciated that, so I didn't. Paul Wade wants to do a Japanese movie day with Uncle Kage. When the pandemic's over, I'd be glad to do it with you. I have an extensive collection of Japanese films, kaiju films, yokai films, and Kurosawa films. And Nicholas says, are you actually happy that Anthrocon had to be canceled this year? Okay, that's a complicated question. Am I happy it was canceled? No. Am I relieved it was canceled? To a degree, because I was extremely anxious as to what quality we were going to be able to provide in the current condition. By canceling it, I think it saved it. So I do feel very, very relieved that we've got a breather now. We've got lots of time to plan for next year. And I'm asked, did I go to Eurofurence in the Netherlands? No, I've only gone to Eurofurence when it was in Germany and when it was in the Czech Republic, which it will never be again. It's going to be in Germany. Oh, and Chen says, I would teach you how to ask her for wine next time. Well, I wish you would. Let's see. And Vilt Dragon, have you seen the new Godzilla King of the Monsters? Yes, I like it. It is a very good film. I like the personality they put into the big G. And I found no end of amusement. I'm going to turn that a little bit. I found no end of amusement that the 2014 film, critics were saying they only showed the monster for like 5 minutes out of the entire film, and they spent too much time concentrating on the human subplots. Then the new one came out, and the critics were saying they didn't spend any time on the human plots. They spent too much time on the monsters. Okay, fuck you. We're here to see monsters. Nobody has ever watched a Godzilla movie for the plot. You're here to see the monsters duke it out. That's what we're here for. And And Cowlin says, Anthrocon is my only chance to going to a furry con. Well, I hope you can make it in 2021. I hope we can make it in 2021. Let's see. Talon is here. Hi, Talon. How are you? And, Talon, both Talon and Tien, I needed assistance. I figured something out. YouTube went nuts. They got rid of their classic studio, and they've got their new improved studio where the damn thing wouldn't stream. I had to actually set up an entirely new stream just to get it to go. But we'll talk about that later. I was very, very angry when this stream started because it did that. Let's see. I mentioned there would be financial problems if you canceled early due to a clause in your hotel legal document. That is true. Every single hotel agreement has the same line in it. We're expecting to make money. This is the hotel saying this. We expect to make thousands and thousands of dollars, and we're planning for it. If you pull out, you owe us that money. And then in another section, there's this thing that says the Impossibility Clause, or the Force Majeure Clause. I wish Boozy was here. He could explain a lot better than me. It basically says, if it becomes impossible, then this agreement is null and void, but both parties have to agree it's impossible. So some conventions had it easy. They had to approach one hotel and say, can we agree that it's impossible for us to hold the convention? I have 11 hotels in one convention center. I had a lot of discussion that I had to have. We needed to have letters from every single one of those entities that said, okay, we agree, we're going to cancel the contract, or else we would have been shelling out more money than we have. Now, I was in the process of contacting all of those hotels. I wanted to have all the letters in place so that we could make the announcement, okay, we are now going to have to cancel the convention, and we could tell people, here's what you need to do. Here's how refunds will be handled. Here's how your deposit will be handled for the hotel. Here's who to talk to if you have a problem. Unfortunately, as soon as I contacted the hotels and said, I want to cancel, they started canceling reservations and sending emails to people saying your reservation's canceled. People immediately went to Twitter and said, what's going on? How come my Anthrocon hotel reservation was canceled? And I was like, oh, fucking hell. So we had to scramble and push our announcement forward even before all of the agreements were in place. That was a very, very uncomfortable period of time, I don't mind saying. There was a small discussion that I had with the city of Pittsburgh where it was mentioned by them that we hope none of the hotels want to play hard. And I said, remind them that I play hard too. And so far, we've not had any trouble. Oh, Talon is in the Berg this weekend. I wish I was there. And apparently they've dug the hole bigger in front of the Westin. Okay, why don't we just dig the thing out and build another convention center down there? We might as well. Gigard was happy to see me, EDF. I was happy to see you too, Mr. Gigard. And I hope to see you next year. We very much hope there will be a next year. Okay. Now, there is one thing that I'm kind of hoping for. Since all of the events at the convention center are canceled, I hope that they will be able then to proceed with the renovations to the roof, including the new escalators that they've been promising me, at an accelerated schedule. We shall have to see. Let's see. Sorvagatamon says, I prefer the old studio, but once you get used to the new one, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. Yes, Diana, no, I don't want another convention center. I want another hotel. That's what I want. And apparently Cranium McCrane face is still out there. Mr. Morningstar says, if Anthrocon happens next year, could I have a drink with you? Provided you're buying? Yes, you could indeed, in fact. Oh, you're very kind to say so, Paladi, or Paladi. It was an honor to meet you as well. And then Cowlin says, I just dropped my phone on my face. May I recommend not doing that, Cowlin? That is a not recommended action to take. Let's all agree on that. Let's not drop the phone on our face anymore. Liam McCarty wants to know, did you ever get your cash back from Doug O? We did put the liens on his expensive cars. We put a lien on his house. And as soon as he realized that I play rough, he paid back the money. I wanted to then sue him again for the amount of money I had to expend to collect the money. But Anthrocon's board of directors would not allow it. They said, look, this is becoming a distraction. You've got work to do, so let it go. And I said, I don't wanna. And they said, let him go. Just drop it. We've got our money. Just let it go. So they would not allow me to pursue further legal action against him. So I have not. But every year in the winter time, I send him a Christmas card. Just to show him there's no hard feelings. Christmas card from Sam Conway and the Furries. This past year's Christmas card, I had a cheery, see you soon, with a smiley face. He never sends a card back, but yeah, he's busy, I'm sure. He just doesn't have time. Adea Carufus wants to know, have I seen the new Toucan Sam? I have not seen the new Toucan Sam. I've seen him evolve over the years, but I've not seen the new one. Paul Wade says, shall I bring my Japanese films after the sickness is over? Well, when it's over, send me a list of what you got, and we'll compare notes. We might have the same films. Lion Wing wants to know, what did you or your sweet mother enjoy Mother's Day? Well, I went down, I had breakfast with her, and then spent much of the day hanging up a curtain rod so she could put a brand new curtain in her bedroom. She's very happy with that now. Let's see. Hugo Wolf, are there any hard liquors you like? The answer is yes. Will I drink them? No. I do not drink hard liquors with the exception of one single night out of the year. And that is the only time I touch hard liquor, that one night. Let's see. Eddie the Weather Fox, besides the Doug O, I know there was at least one other person who discovered it's not a good thing to owe Kage money. How many times has this happened? Not very often, because I still believe neither a borrower nor a lender be. But yes, there was one other person who owed me money, and that is not a position you want to be in. Call it a cultural thing. I am from Philadelphia. So, no, you owe money to me. I'm going to get the money, and I'm going to get it my own way. So you're better off just giving it to me. Onyx Flame wants to know my most preferred type of weather. 25 degrees Celsius, gentle breeze, partly sunny. That's my most preferred type of weather. Undertaker would like to know, have you ever driven your dream car? I don't know if I have a dream car per se. I have driven a Mercedes-Benz C-Class on the German Autobahn at full speed, so that's probably as close as we would get. Striker Husky, what do you think is going to happen to AC 2021? I haven't the foggiest idea, and I'm afraid even to speculate. We're crossing our fingers and saying, let's hope this nonsense is done with before then. Oh, Caraway's off to bed. Good night, Caraway. Thank you for joining us tonight. An archive engineering. How long have you had that wine stand in the corner? Back the one that Ronnie Long is guarding. I don't know. About 4 years, I guess. I got it. There's a little winery here in the town of Cary in North Carolina, and I bought it there. Okay. Liam says, what kind of car do I drive? I am an old guy. I drive a sensible car. My car is a 2006 Toyota Corolla with a manual transmission. Onyx Flame, when they finally reopen, do you think attendance will be through the roof? I honestly don't know. And I don't even know if I want to speculate. It could take off. It could be cut in half. It could stay the same. There's really no way to tell. Yeah, Samson the Cat Fox. Kage and the furries have a slight mafia touch. If you owe money and don't pay, there'll be consequences. Interestingly enough, in order to spend some time in the isolation here, I watched The Irishman. And that was interesting because a lot of it takes place in Philadelphia in the 60s and 70s, and it brought back memories. Not necessarily the kind of memories that, are like winsome memories. Names came up. It's like, yeah, I remember when that guy got whacked. Oh yeah, Angelo Bruno. Oh, how could I forget about him? All of the old mobsters from Philadelphia, most of whom died during my lifetime in most horrific fashions. What was it? Angeletti, gunned down in a barber shop. Who was the guy who got gunned down in his car? Was that Bruno? Sometimes they all just run together in your mind. Oh, and Nicholas has to go to bed. Good night, Nicholas. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Oh, yes, Ivo 215. Houses were painted. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because even as a young man, I knew that when somebody said, I paint houses, he doesn't paint houses. It's just, when you're in Philly, you knew that a house painter was something else. And if you don't know what it is, look it up. Oh, Layla Cookie is off to bed. Thank you for coming, Layla Cookie. Boy, everybody's going to bed. Maybe we should start winding down. Onyx Flame would like to know, would you say you're the Don of the furry mafia, or is that now Alkali Bismuth? Oh, let's see. Okay. Who would people be? I don't know if I would want to be, the Don, because that tends to make you a really big target. Who could Alkali be? Now, Alkali is more an enforcer kind of guy. Ade Carufus, ever had an 8-track tape player in your car? 8-tracks were kind of passé by the time I was driving. They went out in the 70s. I didn't get my until 1981. I had a cassette player in the car. Oh, boy. Undertaker says, Uncle Kage is the godfather of furries. Maybe I am. Talon Wolf says, I'd be Joe Pesci. What are you saying? What are you saying? You saying I'm a clown? You saying I'm here to amuse you? Is that what you're saying? I love Joe Pesci. The man's amazing. Oh, Calvin, it's 12:20 after midnight in Ireland. Off to bed with you then. Thank you again for joining us. Yeah, did Frank Sheeran really kill Jimmy Hoffa? Okay, here's the thing, Samson. In my lifetime, there have been literally hundreds of guys who claim to have been the one to have offed Jimmy Hoffa. Frank Sheeran is just one in a long line. We're never going to know because there's so, and maybe that's by design. Maybe they wanted it that way. There are so many hundreds of guys saying, yeah, I killed Hoffa. How do you figure out who's telling the truth? Let's see. Vovaka, would you be interested in another wine stream together? This time you pay your own way over here. I don't know if I can help. But you did promise to help her with her garden. Yeah, you get to do that. And Uncle Kage says you don't have a very big top hat, though, so that makes you less of a mafia boss. Excuse me. Makes me less of a mafia boss, really? Okay. First off, yes, I do have a top hat. And if I want to be a mafia boss, this tends to be the hat that I wear in the wintertime on a regular basis. So, yeah, I guess I could be the fur don. Why not? Undertaker wants to know if my first car was a Model T. Oh, you're funny. You're a funny guy. You're a regular comedian. My first car was a 1977 Dodge Colt. Bought from my brother-in-law. Never buy a car from your brother-in-law. Let's see. Talon says my voice changes when the hat is on. I know what you're talking about, Talon. I think you're full of crap. That's not true. Let's see. Ever heard of the University of Kentucky's immunization research for that virus? I've heard of a lot of research, but don't put any eggs in anybody's basket yet, because we got a long way to go. Trust me. And Reshere says that's more Clockwork Orange. And that would be if I had, like, the makeup on one eye. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way. Yes. Yes. There was me, that is, Alex, and me, Droobs, dim, being very dim. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Oof, pardon me. Morningstar says, what about that furry that drooled on you? Don't make me think about him. Gigard, bonne nuit. Thank you very much for coming by. Dave Nevius, a news source you actually trust. That's a very, very difficult question. I tend to look at BBC and Al Jazeera these days because they usually don't have any kind of axe to grind. The next best is CNN, although they have trouble keeping their bias out too. Archive engineering on a scale of 1 to 10. How effective are the masks? All right. Let me explain something to you. Here's a mask, okay? Now, the best description that I heard is as follows. Imagine if everybody is naked, and I'm talking to a guy, and he starts peeing on my leg. My leg's going to get all wet. All of that pee is going to get all over my leg. Now, if I'm wearing a pair of pants and he starts peeing on my leg, some of it's going to get through. My leg's still going to get wet, but nowhere near as much as if I wasn't wearing the pants. The pants are going to absorb a lot of it, but not all of it. If he's wearing pants, when he starts peeing, none of it's going to get on me because it's all going to stay on him. And that's what these masks are for. This is not protecting me. This is protecting you from me. And it's very effective at that. Because as I talk and I sneeze and I cough and I make all those little droplets, those little moisture droplets are primarily getting caught in the mask. As a matter of fact, as I talk, the mask is getting kind of moist because that's the moisture coming out. So this is very effective at keeping the virus coming out of me and getting into you. Now, if you have no mask and you're breathing on me, those little droplets of moisture are evaporating very short distance from your face and now leaving the little virus floating around. It can easily get through this mask if it doesn't have that big beach ball of water around it. So, I hope that's clear. This protects me to a limited degree from you, but it's very effective at protecting you from me. And yes, Autofox, you see people wearing the mask like this, I just want to fucking punch them in the face. This is moronic. It's like wearing a condom with the tip cut off. It's useless. I kind of look like, hang on. This 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth a new nation, conceived in liberty. It kind of works. I like this here. It's my alkali impersonation. Let's see. There's lots of smiley faces going by. If you punch someone wearing a mask with a hole in it, or who's wearing it down here, can you claim self-defense? That would be a question for Boozy. If I see somebody doing this and I punch him and make his nose bleed, can I call it self-defense? I don't know, but I really like the idea. This is kind of cool. I like this. Very Lincoln-esque here. Look, I'm a neckbeard. Yeah, that works. See, it's difficult when you wear glasses and you got these masks here. Okay. Yes, John Malkovich was a very, very good Abraham Lincoln. Of course, John Malkovich is one of those actors who is good in just about anything he does. Onyx Flame says, what's my thoughts on people making masks out of bras and socks? Whatever works. If it covers your nose and your mouth, I don't care what you make it out of, if it works. So, what's it look like? What's it look like with this here? Nah, got to be the top hat. Yeah. Here's the Abraham Lincoln look. Okay, I got it. By the way, Alkali has cut his hair short and his beard. I hate to tell you this, Alkali. Your beard now looks like what we call the Honest Mr. Bartender, I'm 21 beard. I just wanted to tell you that. Oh, boy. Stryker saying, what charities do you recommend to help these days in Pittsburgh? I'm the wrong man to ask, Stryker, because I am extremely cynical. I have seen so much abuse in charities. I have seen far too much. I really don't trust any charities unless I can do a lot of research on them. Unless I can see that a significant amount of the money I give them is going to go where they say it does. Anthrocon's charities are very carefully researched and very carefully vetted. We don't just grab anybody. That's why it takes us a long time to come up with our charity each year. Let's see. Kaiwin says, what's that on the chair behind you? Oh, over here. That is Cerberus. That is my plush Cerberus. He is, you see, there's three heads. There's the right head, the left head, and Kevin, the Kevin head. So he is my three-headed dog plush. Yes. Autofox says, I feel like any charity that gets above a certain size will succumb to internal rot. Yeah, tell me about it. Liam says, bring him closer. Yes, he protect the gates to heck. Okay, let's go get him. I was going to make 3 little masks for him, but I'm going to bring him closer. So yes, this is Cerberus. As you can see, he's got all 3 of his heads. He has little wavy arms here. And he is what Qianlong would call a bao. See? He's like, growl. I protect gates of heck. I attack. I also protect. So yeah. Whoops, glass is falling off here. Let's see if. That was awkward. Okay. Nah, it doesn't work so good. White Tiger says, rather adorable looking for the garden and the gates of Hades. Actually, there was just on Twitter, I saw this come across Twitter. You see a dog face and someone saying, who's a good boy? And then you see another dog face. Who's a good boy? And you see another dog face. Who's a good boy? And we zoom out and it's Satan with Cerberus and there's an archdemon saying, it's all the same good boy, Satan. It's cute. And Quack Quack Hunt points out, yeah, you're looking for charity from Pittsburgh that you want to give money to, go to one that has been an Anthrocon charity because, well, yeah, we do our research on that. Vavaka says, any other drinks other than water? Nope, just water, that's all. And Cerberus needs masks. I've got extra masks around here, but I don't have 4 of them. I would need 4 for all of us. And as far as I know, canines don't carry the SARS-CoV-2 virus, as they like to call it. Oh, and Hugo Wolf points out that if you translate Cerberus from Greek to English, it basically means spot. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Mr. Morningstar says, always remember you're a wonderful person and very well cared about. Do you owe me money or something? That's very suspicious. But it's kind of you to say. Thank you very much. Oh, Paladai the Ghoul is off to bed. Good night, Mr. Ghoul. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see. Yes, they are all the same boy, and they are all good boys. Yes, Vavaka will be drinking in my place. Go ahead, yeah, rub it in all you want. Yay. Yay. And Liam says if you translate helicopter from Latin to English, it means spinning wing. Actually, yes, it does, doesn't it? I bet Silent Dawn didn't know that. Kyle wants to know, am I a cat or a dog person? I have had both. I am more a dog person. I like cats, but I am very much a dog person. I speak dog very, very fluently. And when I go out for my morning run, I bring a pair of nitrile gloves with me. That's because something that people don't seem to be paying attention to, someone who is suffering greatly during this whole isolation thing are the doggos. When people take their dogs out for a walk in the morning and the dogs see a person, they want to go up and interact with the person and lick their hands and get petted and have attention on them. But people aren't doing that now. So I bring gloves so that if a doggo wants to come up and see me, I can put the gloves on and show the owner, hey, I'm gloved up. So then I can give the dog pets. So they're doggo gloves. Let's see. Quack Quack Hunt can't pet the doggies I see. Bring some doggo gloves. Maybe that will work. And there's another thing. Just hang on. There was something that we were going to have made. This is a prototype. This was designed, this is the prototype, this is hand sanitizer. It was going to be given out at Anthrocon. When we had to cancel, I called up the company that was providing them and said, okay, we're going to donate them to a place that needs them. And they said, well, not so fast. We can't seem to get the supplier to return our phone calls. These were supposed to be back in stock at the beginning of May. Well, now we're halfway through May and the supplier still has been very silent. So I've gone ahead and canceled the order because I don't think you're going to be able to get hand sanitizer, especially in a lot of 12,000, which is what I had ordered. So this is the only one in existence for now. Hopefully we can have more made next year. Mr. Morningstar, can you please sing Leave Her Johnny? No, I can't, Mr. Morningstar. I'm not up to singing tonight. As I mentioned before, my voice is not in optimal condition, probably because it's not gotten a lot of exercise for the past several weeks. Even though I'm drinking water, I can feel it's rather strained, and I don't know if I really should be doing any more singing this evening. Very, very sorry. Paul Wade says that's an adorable noodle in the background. If you're referring to that, that is Ronnie Long. He guards the wine, as you can see, which I don't have any of. Kywin says, maybe I can make Anthrocon branded deodorant. You know, the thought has occurred to us to have Anthrocon branded soap and Anthrocon branded deodorant. The problem with that is, out of 10,000 people, 9,875 of them would get the joke and think it was funny. 125 of them would get butthurt and start whining. And 125 people whining at the same time makes a lot of noise. So we decided against it. Let's see. Gummibjorn says, how high do we have to bid to own that unique hand sanitizer? Well, the next time we have a charity auction, maybe I'll have this, if I don't use it between now and then, because it's impossible to find this stuff. We shall have to see. And White Tiger just realized the context. Yes. Yes, 621 is a good rule for daily life, not just cons, but still, people get offended, and we don't want to offend people. Yes, Eddie, the Allegheny is right there. Things don't scale well. When you have 100 people, and you have a rate of 1% people getting offended, when you have 100 people, if one person's offended, fuck him. He can't take a joke. If you have 1,000 people, you have 10 people offended. Now they got a little gang there and they start ganging up on you. It's annoying, but you can still kind of write it off. When you've got 10,000 people and you have 100 pissed off, offended people all shouting at you at once, it's not fun anymore. Let's see. Wadia says the E621 rule? No, although that would be a lot of fun. Yappy's here. Hi, Yappy. Oh, and Vialt Dragon's booze is all gone. I'm sorry to hear that. I know how you feel. And Marauder, yes, we are carrying over everything to next year. Charity, guests, theme, we didn't cancel 2020. We have postponed 2020 to 2021. That's how it's going to be. Jen Long says, those 100 are just lunch. Well, I wish you'd get to it. Let's see. And it's interesting because it was just about 1%. When the announcement was made that we had to cancel and or postpone Anthrocon this year, there was, of course, a flurry of responses. And we had about 1% negative responses. People shouting and moaning and calling us cowards. And one guy said we were germaphobes and that we had no right. Since it was only 1% and there weren't that many of them, it's like block, block, block. Okay, we're done. Was it wrong to block them? Maybe. I don't know. But quite frankly, I don't want to hear what they have to say. Sorry. And yeah, you're right, Onyx. This year is just one big 404. Yeah, they would be writing 1 over the second 0 of the comic books. We had thought because when you start getting into late May, that's when you have to print your con books and all of your papers. We had thought before we knew that we were going to have to cancel, we would print everything with 2020 on it, and then we would have stickers made that had the 1 that you could place the sticker over the 0 and have it be 1. We might even do that for next year. We might just have 22 with a blank and then hand out stickers and people can put the number on as they wish. Viot Dragon says, I hear human tastes like rotten pork. Not rotten pork, just very salty pork. Let's see. Yeah, Kaiwin, we should delete this year and make it 2020.2. Yeah, this has definitely been the year from hell. I saw a cute little meme. Somebody had a scene from Back to the Future, and they had Doc saying, now remember, Marty, whatever you do, don't set it for 2020. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. White Tiger, I generally don't like blocking people, at least not permanently. Removes any chance of further communication. You are correct. I usually don't block people unless they seriously piss me off. If I am at the point where I say, you know what, I don't ever want to fucking hear from you again, that's when the block comes out. I make liberal use of the mute button, though. We'll just leave that one go. Okay. Let's see. Most people are talking about marinating human meat right now. Okay, we'll let you guys talk about that. Oh, Furry Trainer. Hello, Furry Trainer. Where had you gone? You disappeared. I don't know if you got to see the drawing I did for you, but it's right over here. All right, it's 7:43. I am still remarkably sober. Sadly sober. I'm going to get one more glass of water. Again, my throat is kind of parched. Hurts. Nice filtered Brita water, clearing out the chlorine. Oh, yeah. When I was clearing out my boxes, I also came across this. What do you think certain people would offer me at a charity auction for this? Tyra wants to know where we can get an RL mute button. There was an episode of Black Mirror. It's a scary series. Very, very disturbing. But there was one episode where everybody had like ocular implants and you could mute people. Basically, they would be silenced and you would just see like a vague gray outline. You wouldn't have to deal with them again. I would not necessarily mind that. Paul Wade like to know if I am a man of gaming. Currently, no. Did you ever play any arcade games? Yes, back in the 80s when arcade games were arcade games. Donkey Kong, Battlezone, Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Dig Dug. You name the game, I probably played it back in the 80s. I dropped a lot of quarters. Well, Vaca, if you could redo any year in history, which would it be? Well, could we redo this one? I would like to have a do-over for this one, honestly. Yeah, Talon, yeah, you should start watching Black Mirror. I recommend it. Just, it can be distressing because a lot of what it portrays is frighteningly close. Eddie the Weather Fox, yes, I have seen the blog Things I Won't Work With. I think every chemist has visited it once in a while. Kywin, was I planning on going to Confuzzled this year? Confuzzled is a difficult one for me for a number of reasons. It's one I can't do every year. I think I've set it in like every 4 or 5 years, something like that. You can ask me offline. I can tell you what the difficulties I have getting over there are, but I don't want to bore everybody with my troubles. Then again, what's the Winestream for? Let's see. Bavaka, so this year you've been sober to death. I just might well be. What other arcade games did I play a lot of? Zaxxon. I was unbeaten at Zaxxon. Those wonderful old, it wasn't 8-bit graphics. I think Zaxxon was 16-bit, which was amazingly realistic for the time. Sorvagadamon wants to know, would anybody interested in a public domain movie night or morning cartoons? I'm sure they would be. Finding the public domain movies and cartoons would be the hard part. Yappy Fox, guess I can polish the cymbal this July. Yappy, that sounds vaguely dirty. Undertaker wants to know what's my favorite chemical to work with. I've worked with a lot of chemicals in my day. I always did like the butylithiums. They had that little element of danger to them. Butylithium is a very, very useful reagent. It's a good base. But it usually comes in hexane solution, and it is maddeningly pyrophoric, meaning it bursts into flame on contact with air. And if you have it in hexane, it basically is like a flamethrower. In fact, that was one of the things grad students used to do. You would take a syringe full of butylithium and just spray it, and you'd have a flamethrower. We weren't supposed to do that, and I probably shouldn't be. Well, I'm sure the statute of limitations is long past, but... Autofox, yes, I played Sinistar. That was an annoying one, though. The thing used to taunt you. Tyro, the compound that turned yellow could become explosive. I believe that was potassium azide. Was it potassium amide or azide? I think it was potassium azide. That was tough. That stuff was tough. Liam says, have you ever seen any videos on the channel Explosion and Fire? I have not. And I have... There, I'm unfrozen now. I always get a little nervous when I see people making these videos because I don't want kids doing stuff like that. And they will. I know I did. Paul Stallion, any news stories since your last Winestream? Not a lot, really. I haven't really been I haven't been anywhere, and I haven't really done anything. This upcoming Friday, I have been asked to take part in a virtual convention on this VR chat thing. We'll see how it goes. I've never used VR chat before. I am not that much of a gamer. I don't have a powerful gaming rig here, so we'll see if it works. Tyra says, repeat what you said, stream died. Well, I don't know. Am I streaming? Well, okay, it's back. People say I'm back. Okay. Will I be doing a green screen Halloween again this year? Possibly. Talon, want to come for Halloween, assuming there's no horrible, epidemic going on? Oh, yes. I was talking earlier about the desire to mute and or block people on Twitter. There is one kind of creature on Twitter that I cannot stomach, and that is the pedant. If you don't know what a pedant is, you can look it up. A pedant is the person who, when you make a comment and you say, this epidemic is really depressing me. A pedant is a person who replies, I would expect somebody of your stature to know that this is a pandemic, not an epidemic. If you can't at least get your terminology right, you should. That's usually as far as I read before I block them. Thoughts on Reuters news from Vovaka? It's better than Fox. Was it Groucho or was it... I can't remember who was it who said it. It might well have been W.C. Fields. Said, I refuse to drink anything fish fuck in. That sounds like Fields. Okay. Now, Silence says, assuming you have vacation time piling up, where would you like to go wherever this is over? I would like to go back to Japan. I would love to go back to Jamoff. See, here's the problem. The company I work for does not allow vacation time to be carried over to the next year. It's a hard and fast rule. They haven't really thought a lot, and I don't know if I want to be the one to bring it up. Nobody's taking vacation, and they're not allowed to carry it over till next year. We're going to get to a situation where everyone is going to take the month of December off because they've got to use their vacation time or they lose it. That's not going to be good for the company. What I don't want to do is remind the company and have them say, okay, everybody has to take their vacation time now. Well, yay, great. What am I going to do with my vacation? Sit at home like I do on every other day. So hopefully this stuff is over by the end of the year. I'm not going to hold out a lot of hope for it, but yeah, we'll see. Tianlong says, I'm wearing a lab coat for Halloween. No one will be able to tell us apart. I have been losing weight. In fact, earlier on, I showed this, a purchase that I made. Some folks may know what this is. Some folks may not. You know what this is? This is a leather punch. And when you are losing weight, it is a wonderful thing to have when you get to the point where your belt no longer fits and you have to punch a new hole in your belt. That feels nice when you're a formerly overweight person and you now have gotten rid of the weight. Samson the Cat Fox says, I wonder what Winston Churchill would say about this pandemic. I shall quote Churchill's reported last words. I'm so blasted tired of it all. I think he'd say that, yeah. Mr. Morningstar, you ever played a prank on your mother? Maybe when I was very, very young. I happen to like the blood not coming out of my nose, though. Let's see. Doreka got a nylon webbing belt. I don't do nylon webbing. All of my belts are black leather. Nylon webbing doesn't look good with this look, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm not calling Tien fat. You see, let me tell you there was one time Qianlong and Qinlong were both present at a convention where I was. And we decided to have a little bit of fun. I would portray Qianlong, and Qinlong would put on my lab coat with his beautifully blue head and hands, and we would go out and people would think he was me and I was him. Ha ha, funny, funny. We were giggling to ourselves. And when we got downstairs, we were there for 30 seconds when I called it off because I distinctly heard a voice say, "Oh my God, Uncle Kage's lost weight, but Tien's getting fat." Yeah. Vavaka, I have not had a chance to read. No. Let's see. White Tiger, do I have any grandchildren? Not that I know of. We'll just leave it at that. Not that I know of. Liam says, if everyone uses their vacation at the same time because of the company's bad planning, who cares? I care. I don't want to see any of my coworkers get into hot water. That's it. Vinny says, what are some of the most controversial panels that have taken place at Anthrocon? We generally don't have controversial panels because I don't feel like dealing with it. I would honestly say I don't think we have had any really controversial panels. If anyone wants to correct me, go ahead, because that means they snuck in under my radar and I didn't know about them. Bodice is asking, any funny stories back from school time? We're saying elementary school, high school, college, grad school. I went to school for 25 years of my life. Bill Windwalker. Very, very good to see you, Mr. Windwalker. How are you? And Big Wig Ra. The gym closure is hurting me. I have a book back here that I have been following for a small amount of time called You Are Your Own Gym. It's a collection of body weight exercises, which I have been undertaking as part of my weight loss regimen. So you might want to consider that. Because who needs a gym? You are your own gym. Let's see. There it goes. Okay. Every once in a while, the chat kind of freezes and then goes. Eddie the Weather Fox, how did you enjoy living in New England when at Dartmouth? I lived across the river in White River Junction, Vermont. I loved Vermont. I was very, very, very happy there. I found it extremely agreeable and it suited me. I would have liked to have stayed in Vermont. Problem is there's not a lot of chemical industry there, not a lot of pharma industry either. So I had no choice but to leave it. But I will tell you, when I drove out of Vermont for the last time, headed west toward Chicago, and I looked in the rearview mirror and saw the Green Mountains receding, it did bring a tear to my eye. Let's see. Yappy wants a road trip. I know how you feel. Believe me, I know how you feel. Oh, hang on. I found a little something. Again, those folks who have been paying attention know that I was going through some boxes and coming up with old relics. Hey, Yapster, I found this in a box. Let's see if I can hold it so you can see it here. I thought you might get a kick out of this. Remember this? And Yappy's looking at it and squinting and reading it, and now I'm sure he's going, oh boy, yeah. There's a story behind this. Maybe I'll tell you someday. White Tiger says, maybe one day you can retire to Vermont. I'd like to, I guess. The thing is, I don't like moving. Where I am now, I might as well just stay. Mr. Morningstar, when do you plan on having another wine stream? The 6th of June, Saturday. Because I'll be allowed to have wine then, and I don't want to wait a long time. So it'll probably be the June 6th will be the next wine stream. Interesting. Otto Fox's uncle was director of tourism for the state of Vermont in the 80s and 90s. I lived in Vermont from 1986 to 1991. Let's see. Oh, Eddie the Weather Fox went to school in the White Mountains. I was in the Green Mountains, you were in the White Mountains. Let's see. Yep, my birthday is the 4th of June, which is Thursday. I thought about doing a Thursday stream, but we'll stick to Friday. Saturday. Now, I am going to hold out until my birthday. And there is already a bottle of wine in there that is waiting for that. Big Wig Ra, allowed to have wine. Who would have the audacity to give you permission? Me. I decided back in December that I was going to take the month of May and abstain from drinking alcohol. Had I known what was coming, I would have picked a different month. But I'm sticking to it. And for the past 2 weeks, I have been forced to subsist on nothing but food and water. And yes, Samson, I have seen One Warm Line, the Stan Rogers documentary. Kaiwin, have you ever read Dune? Long time ago. I saw the original movie and that sucked. Are you looking forward to the film that's coming out later this year, as long as it doesn't suck like the last one did? I would much rather see a film of the collaboration between Larry Niven and Frank Herbert. I bet you all didn't know that Frank Herbert and Larry Niven collaborated on an epic science fiction story. It was called Ringworm. You have to be a real geek to know about that one. I'll let that sink in. Let's see. Cook some method of it. What is your opinion of the wines from Pennsylvania, New York, Lake Erie wine region? Pennsylvania, I'm a Pennsylvanian. The wine is shit. The Finger Lakes wines, they're pretty good, though. I have to admit. Let's see. Oh, yes. Liam the Coyote. Have you ever seen the driving test for London bus drivers in the 50s? They actually used that up through the 80s, as far as I know. You basically had to do a Tokyo drift in a London double-decker bus and keep it upright. Oh, Mr. Morningstar is off. Good night. Thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, yeah, some of you got that. There's the lag here. Can my voice handle a little bit of Flanders and Swan? It's worth it just to ride inside that 30-foot long by 10-foot wide, inside that monarch of the road, observer of the highway code, that big six-wheeler, scarlet painted London transport diesel engine, 97 horsepower omnibus. That's all the singing I can do tonight. I remember the first time I visited London, since I'm wearing the hat, I did want to get on one of the double-decker buses, and I did. And then I got on one of the double-decker tour buses. And we were going from site to site. And the bus had stopped at an intersection on its way to the next site, and I saw a sign, and I got off the bus because I was where I wanted to be. It was a very unassuming little sign pointing down a set of stairs, and it said War Cabinet Rooms. The War Cabinet Rooms under the Treasury Building where Winston Churchill ran the Battle of Britain. I absolutely had to see that. That was amazing. That was one of the highlights of my trip to London. Well, Vok, are we going to have dinner at EF26 in 2021? I hope so. At this point, I'm not willing to make any predictions. The world has become far too unpredictable. Kaharia Worgan, do you know the Aragon books? I know the books. We'd love to see a remake by Peter Jackson. He would probably do it better than the movie they tried to make out of it. That was pretty bad. Bill Windwalker, ever done a show on some of the great furry makers? A lot of them are dead. I guess I could. Kind of like a documentary series. It sounds a little too much like work. Maybe somebody could. I'd be more than happy to consult for it, but I don't have the energy right now to make one. And Eddie the Weather Fox, shall there be mention or discussion of D-Day, Operation Overlord, during the June 6 Winestream? Almost certainly there will be. We might even talk about some of the deception that was employed, because that was classic. What can we do to fool the enemy? Everything from making rubber dummies and dressing them up in uniforms and throwing them out of aircraft on parachutes to make them think, and airborne landing was coming in the wrong spot. Having them charged with firecrackers and pyrotechnics, so when they hit the ground, these fireworks would go off, and the people were thinking they were shooting, and they would catch fire, and people were thinking the parachutes are being burned, which is one of the things you did when you landed. Amazing stuff. And we won't even get into, gee, how can we make them think we've got more tanks than we have? Let's make rubber inflatable tanks. One of those ideas that's so crazy it just might work, and it did. Otto Fox is asking, have you ever read The Moat in God's Eye? Actually, I never did read that series. Neither have I read The Vampire Chronicles. Is it true that June 6 was Rommel's wife's birthday? I don't know, but Rommel was out of town, and it would make sense that he had gone back to enjoy a celebration of his wife's birthday. I would have to look it up, though. I can't speak with authority. Oh, Yappy, I know what you mean. Every time you seem like you're crawling out of the hole, something happens. The Gulf War, 9/11, the 2008. That was my dad used to say, sometimes you can't win for losing. Paul Wade is off. Thank you for joining us tonight, Paul. It was grand to have seen you. Oh, boy. And I might be off, too, because I don't know how to end this stream. Normally, I end the stream when I'm, so drunk I'm falling over and can't talk anymore. But my voice is starting to give out. I don't know how much longer I can go, and maybe I should stop while I still can. Yeah, the whole pandemic feels like one long bad dream. I just wish we could wake up from it. Well, here is at least one small ray of hope. We will get through it, because we've been through these things before. I lived through, when we were still able to have colorful names, the Hong Kong flu, the swine flu, the bird flu. It seemed like every 5 or 10 years there was a pandemic. Nothing quite like this in our lifetime, but we've been through it before. We've been through worse. We'll get through this one. Although I hate to say it, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And maybe, just maybe, when we look at the news and we see these people out there protesting and saying, I'm not going to self-isolate. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm going to do what I want. Maybe this is nature's way of killing the stupid people. I'll just leave you with that thought. If it cheers you up, great. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. I hope I left some bit of good cheer tonight, and I hope I wasn't too awfully surly. I know I started out rather surly. It's all I could do just not to sit here and snort this stuff. So the next stream I am planning for the 6th of June, and I am going to be drinking so much wine that night, it will be coming out of my ears. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be a spectacle, I assure you. So, on behalf of myself and the 3 good boys here, we're going to call it a night. I'll switch to this hat because this is kind of how I feel every single day now. Maybe it'll happen. We can only hope, because in the end, right now, hope's the only thing we have. So we might as well hang on to it as long as we can. You never know when it might pay off. All right, ladies, gentlemen, and others, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I hope it was at least mildly entertaining. If not, the next one certainly will be. I can assure you of that. So let me get my button lined up here so I can click the stop thing. You know, guys, stay cheerful. I know it's hard to say. We will get through this. It's going to suck. It's going to get worse, but we will get through it. Hopefully sooner than later. So, stiff upper lip. Keep calm and carry on.